Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
Wave a magic wand. Black people would put singing and dancing aside. We've already proven that we're the best and that we have mastered that. We really don't need any more singing. What we need is calm and quiet thinking and analysis. See, this is very important, and don't misunderstand me. I'm baptized Baptist, Christian, Methodist. You see, but there's a time and a place for singing. There's a time and a place for dancing and entertaining. But it's not in the middle of a war.
Yeah, one time, what's up? Respect to the family, salute to the family, peace to the family. It is unpack time, and we got some shit to unpack. So we gonna break it down, we gonna chop it up, and guess what else we doing? We going all the way the fuck in. All the way. Not kinda, not sorta, not halfway. Fuck that. We going all the way in today. So make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the Black Alpha Network, because we on fire. You don't want to miss it. I'm talking about the whole certified 100, the whole certified Black society, and the FBA family tree. Putting in that work. Because ain't a better moment than now, and ain't nobody better than us, so we gonna give it all. Right here, right now, right on time. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Family. Everything has something to do with foundational Black Americans. Everything. Everything you see on your TV, everything you see on your timeline, when you see a motherfucker walking up the street, trust me, we all in their thoughts. Always have been, always will. Because when you are the foundation of a country, that means everything revolves around you. And everything revolves around us. This whole country revolves around us. Be honest with you, the whole goddamn world revolves around us. You don't see no other lineage being spoken of on the other side of the planet more than foundational Black Americans. I done laid out the receipts right here on the AlphaCast. I done showed you people way the fuck in Africa talking about us. I showed you people way the fuck in Asia talking about us. People in the Middle East, people in Europe, everywhere. Anywhere where you find people, you're gonna see folks thinking about foundational Black Americans. That's just what it is. That's how strong we are. Quote it like I spoke it. I always say, we are in a nation, but our impact is global. Our nation is America, the United States that we created, that we built. But our impact is global, and it goes all around this world without refueling one fucking time. That's how powerful we are. And since we are the personification of Black empowerment, let's get it there. Let's go to work. Let's own that shit. Own your greatness. Walk with your head to the sky, not down to the ground. We don't do none of that sucker shit, none of that soft shit. No, we certified and we thorough. We let motherfuckers know where it is. And that's why our presence is felt. Family, our presence is felt in places we ain't even been. So what the fuck does that tell you about this lineage, heritage, and culture? It lets you know that it's all eyes on FBA, and it's been that way. You can't separate the foundation from the country, and you can't separate the country from the foundationals. And we are the foundationals, the certified foundationals. If you want to know what greatness looks like, look at us. If you want to know what being exceptional looks like, look at us. But on the flip side of that, if you want to know what living in somebody's head rent-free, occupying all their thoughts 24/7 in the middle of every decision they make and every single thing they do, look at them when they think about us. And that'll answer every question you have, and that'll also show you the empowerment that we got going on over here on this side. And that brings me to something that we've all been seeing. We've been watching it every day, play the fuck out, and trust and believe I'm gonna break it down to why foundational Black Americans are at the center of all this shit. Yes, our lineage is at the center of the political world and the social world. These motherfuckers don't go until we go. When they sit down at their little supremacist table and they come up with their little supremacist plan and their supremacist plots and their supremacist trick bag gets thrown the fuck out, FBA is written all over that motherfucker. Because we are the only ones that they have to try to scheme, because we are the only ones who fight back. We are the only ones they have to try to trick and confuse because we are the only ones who fight back. We are the only ones they have to try to stop because we are unstoppable. Yep, goddamn it, let me say that twice. We are the only ones that they have to try to stop because we are the only ones who are unstoppable. History has already proven that. If you don't believe me, look around you. The very reason that we still here lets you know we unstoppable. We're going to show them today what our ancestors showed them yesterday, and it's that FBA is too much to fuck with, you can't handle it. You can try, you can lie, you can steal, you can squeal, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do at your little supremacist meeting. You can't fuck with foundational Black Americans' family tree. That tree will fall on you. Damn right, better watch yourself. And you looking at it right now, family, what's been going on? What we all been seeing? We've been seeing this whole Donald Trump fiasco. It's been Donald Trump, indictment, DOJ, arraignments, mugshots. We got everybody going at each other. You got supremacists on supremacist crime on your TV right now. Go look at your goddamn TV. Go get on Yahoo or Google. I guarantee within 2 seconds you're gonna see one W versus the other W. Fighting all on motherfucking camera, all in public. What I always say, family, I said when W's start fighting each other in public, that's because black folks is on code. That's because black folks is on code and we done some shit that done upset the apple cart. We done threw a motherfucking wrench in the game, some shit they wasn't ready or prepared for. These motherfuckers don't just start fighting in public. Y'all know, they be hiding all they shit. Them motherfuckers be at the store saying, come here, Billy, Bob, it's okay, Sally, nice to see you again. And soon as they asses get home and that door closes, it's, John, come get your bastard son. He stole my favorite meth pipe again. Shut the fuck up, Karen. Cook my favorite dinner. I know you're fucking the pool boy. Y'all know they got all types of dirt. They got all types of dirt and they only put on that Brady Bunch act in public. Behind closed doors, filthy. We all know that shit. Goddamn right. So you know when they get on camera and they start fighting publicly, it got something to do with we done shook the game up. Hell motherfucking yeah. You seeing supremacists on supremacist crime. Hell yeah, they fighting for a reason. There's gotta be a reason for them to start fighting on camera. Cause y'all know they be hiding all they motherfucking dirt. So when they get to fighting on camera, out in the open, oh no, there's a reason behind that shit. Oh, there's a real reason. Somebody done pissed Billy, Bob, Karen, and Sally off. Yup, guarantee fucking see it. And it's all brought to you by foundational Black Americans being on code. We got supremacists fighting supremacists. We got tethers fighting tethers. Didn't we just talk about that? We got tethers fighting tethers, Pan-Africans fighting tethers. We got people of color fighting minorities, Democrats fighting Republicans, and supremacists on supremacist crime. All because we on game. On a whole nother level. Shit. We got them fighting like there's 100 supremacists in the room and there's only one meth pipe left. They mad as hell. They willing to risk it all. And that's exactly what you're seeing with the whole Donald Trump fiasco. Motherfuckers is feuding and fighting publicly because certified foundational Black Americans are in full control.
Open tonight for the first time in U.S. history, a former president is charged with a crime. A New York grand jury has voted to indict Donald Trump. It comes after an investigation related to payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Grand jury here in New York City has just handed up an indictment against former President Donald Trump, making him the first former president in U.S. history to face criminal charges. This, of course, is unprecedented. The former president accused of paying $130,000 in hush money to Stormy Daniels in the weeks before the 2016 presidential election. Again, the news just coming in moments ago, according to multiple sources, the Manhattan grand jury votes to indict Donald Trump.
The New York Times reports that Trump was indicted in connection with an investigation into a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Certified. Now we know goddamn well they'd never do no shit like that unless they got a bigger reason. Unless there's some shit that they ain't saying publicly. Now they'll fight publicly, but the reasons of what they fighting about, oh, they still gonna lie about that shit. Cause we know goddamn well, if you go and arrest a former sitting president, it ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn porn star. It ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn hush money. Does anybody really think it's about a porn star and some fucking hush money? That they gonna literally change the system of supremacy, alter the whole goddamn structure so they can bring some justice to a porn star? That's a goddamn lie. You better try another motherfucking one. And plus, when the fuck did they men care about they women so much? When? They got a whole goddamn movement going on right now. Me Too movement, Roe versus Wade. They women out in the street getting snatched by their goddamn hair, hit with goddamn billy clubs, drug up the goddamn block. They sending women to jail for trying to get abortions, but now they care about justice. Just last week, I seen them hit Karen upside the head with a billy club at a Me Too rally. I seen them throw her in handcuffs for trying to get an abortion. Now he cares so much. And if they care so much about freedom and justice and all that shit, how long did it take them to handle that Harvey Weinstein situation? Did they get that all solved? What about that Epstein Island motherfuckers was flying out? Were there any indictments for that? Did any motherfucker get arraigned for that? Or is that just for Donald Trump? They don't give a fuck about their women. Let me tell you something. If there's one group of men on this earth that don't give a fuck about their women, it's them. They can pull that Prince Charming shit in public the same way they pull that Brady Bunch shit in public, but we know they are the most chauvinistic people in the world. When they be out here snatching women up, Charlottesville, plowing folks with cars, did they have any women's marches for that? How many of their men have abuse accusations on them? The whole Me Too feminist movement started based upon them abusing their own women. I mean, look at the whole list from top to bottom, from actors to presidents, school teachers, from pastors to deacons to reverends. And the statistics don't lie. They lead in family abuse. They lead in child abuse. They lead in abuse of their own women. That's why they try to always dump that shit off on black folks. They'll run around and say the black man's the oppressor because they know goddamn well the numbers tell a different story. They talk about Bill Cosby. Man, they got 1 million Bill Cosbys in their community. That's why they always trying to put that shit on us because there are so many of them. So no, they don't give a fuck about women. If there's anybody masquerading as some type of savior for females, it ain't their community. When they got Me Too marches, feminist movement, Roe versus Wade, and what they do in Roe versus Wade. They was out there having a supremacist on supremacist battle. That was Karen versus Ken, and they were in the streets battling. And right here on the Black Alpha Network, I said it then, black folks, sit out of that. That ain't got nothing to do with us. And what you see, you ain't see no black folks with that Roe versus Wade situation. They were trying to recruit every black woman they could. Black women, come support us. Black women, don't you want to help us? Come out here with the Roe versus Wade. And our certified sisters said, hell no, you on your own, Karen. That's a you and Ken problem. We focus on building the black family. They got a lot of women to leave the civil rights movement in the 1960s to join the feminist movement. Our sisters ain't go for that shit today. They ain't leave the black power movement to go jump on that Roe versus Wade. They said, fuck to the gnaw, y'all gonna handle that. So the Roe versus Wade, the feminist, the Me Too movement, as much as they try to put that shit on us and try to make people like Bill Cosby the face of it, we all know Ken is the face of it. And that is a Ken and a Karen problem, and we gonna BLACK our way out. I'm telling you, supremacist civil war everywhere. You got supremacy on supremacy crime, Ken fighting Karen in the streets, Bob fighting Bill in the streets, and certified black society getting to the money. Stay way clear of that shit. Anytime you see two W's fighting, fuck that. Fall back. Ain't our issue. Our only issue is how much reparations money we gonna get, because we gonna get a lot of it. Just last week, they women was out here saying, my body, my choice, because they was locking the motherfuckers up. But now all of a sudden, they want to bring justice for a porn star. Karen done had it hot in these damn streets. They'll pull that fake ass Brady Bunch we all get along shit. They'll do that shit in public. But just like I said, when that door get closed earlier, and then all of a sudden they start fighting over their favorite meth pipe, that's what the fuck been happening to Karen for years when Ken get her alone. You don't believe me? Look at all the statistics. Every single crime against women they lead in by a long shot, a whole goddamn football field. So now they want to come and talk about justice for a porn star. Nah, you just on some bullshit. And we see all the way through it. You really think they're going to change the precedents of American history? Change the whole political structure? Start holding these politicians accountable with jail time over Stormy Daniels? Hell no. Hell no. Especially with all the crimes that you've seen not only the government has sponsored, but also presidents. You could start right here with our lineage. Ronald Reagan was the goddamn trap king. Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy, was the trap queen. And I ain't lying. Do you know that when Nancy Reagan passed away, motherfuckers was on the internet playing the song Trap Queen by Fetty Wap as a dedication to her? And the man's streaming went up. The man's streaming sales went up when Nancy Reagan passed away because he made the song Trap Queen, and she was the trap queen, and Ronald Reagan was the trap king. And they sat back and got on TV, the same public shit I be talking about. They got on TV and said, just say no to drugs. Walk right away and let the drugs flow through the black fucking community. Did anybody get locked up for that? Did anybody get indicted or arraigned for that one? What about George Bush? What about Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton was getting piped in the goddamn Oval Office, and he paid out hush money to a woman that wasn't even a woman that piped him in the damn Oval Office. As a matter of fact, the lady that Bill Clinton paid off, she actually went on camera and showed the check. She said, look, I got paid $850,000 of hush money from Bill Clinton. Went on a whole interview circuit. No indictment for that. But indictments now, let me tell you, when they start flip-flopping all over the place, you already know they up to some sleazy shit. Did anybody get arraigned for that? Did anybody get indicted for that one? Or did his ass just continue to walk up the goddamn street? I did not have sexual relations with that woman. On record. No indictment, no arraignment, no charges, no shit. So you mean to tell me all of that shit went on along with a plethora of other presidents, because every single president in America has always sponsored anti-black racism and atrocities that are focused directly on us. Crimes, straight open crimes that have been proven. It ain't even no shit what we just saying the shit. Crimes that we know for a fact they inflicted on the black community. But ain't a motherfucker get arraigned, not a motherfucker got indicted. They ain't pulled out a handcuff. Fuck handcuffs. They didn't cuff one goddamn wrist. But it was all good. But now, man, you fuck with a porn star, man, they gonna come and get you. Oh yeah, man. Leave the goddamn porn stars alone. That's where they draw the line. That's where Bob said he ain't gonna have it. Leave Stormy Daniels out of this shit. You can break the law, commit all types of goddamn crimes, put weapons and drugs all in the black community, redline black folks, prevent them from having jobs, prevent them from having opportunities, sponsor race soldiers, deleting them over a goddamn broken tail light. You can get piped by an intern, watch people drown in New Orleans, fly right over them and just look down. Y'all remember Katrina? Yeah. They broke all types of federal and regulation laws when it came to Hurricane Katrina. The whole motherfucking rollout. Didn't save no black people. And we call bullshit. So don't tell us about the law. Don't tell us about rules. Don't tell us about how we're all equal and no one's above it. Bullshit. Because the government has always gotten away with crimes against foundational black Americans. Too many to even count. Like we were talking about Katrina. You remember Katrina? You remember that? And all the travesties that were happening to black folks, and they sat back and watched it. Not near motherfucker went to jail. Not near motherfucker got indicted. Stories came out afterwards about all the type of on-purpose neglect, how they were just watching shit happen and didn't give a damn. And it was business as usual right here in America. But yet when it come to Stormy, oh nah. So you can fuck with Katrina, but just don't fuck with Stormy. You can let folks suffer in a hurricane, but just be nice to the porn star. With their track record, if they think anybody is believing that they give a fuck about a porn star, if they give a fuck about hush money, if they give a fuck about breaking any law, they don't. Y'all remember when Kanye West, before he turned into Kim Ye, when he came out and said George W. Bush don't care about black people? Now, did any of those George W. Bush people get indicted? Nope. Just a porn star for Donald Trump. So it lets you know, if it ain't a hurricane that's getting you indicted, if it ain't drugs put in our community that ain't getting you indicted, then don't tell me this is about a porn star. This is about supremacy on supremacy crime and that 100-year plan. I mean, goddamn, if it's about laws, you seen Hunter Biden is literally on camera doing every type of drug you can find at the W Trap House. He ain't even got the regular drugs. He got the W drugs. He doing that shit right there, loaded up on the goddamn laptop. But somehow he evaded all types of crime. But didn't Joe Biden start the 3 strikes rule that got black men locked up by the millions and broke up black families by the millions? Didn't he create the crime bill? But it don't apply to his son though. Hunter Biden right there doing all types of new shit. He got the drugs that don't come out to the year 2058. But Donald Trump got 30 plus counts. 30 counts? But we gonna talk about what it's really about. Damn right, I said we was gonna unpack. So let's unpack this motherfucker. What it's really about is the future of supremacy and all the little minions, tethers, and puppets that they trying to fly into America. That's what it's about. You having a supremacist on supremacist fight right now. You got one guy who said he gonna bring in 11 million illegals, and then you got another guy who said he's going to deport every last one he can find.
When I'm back in the White House, the very first reconciliation bill I will sign will be for a massive increase in Border Patrol and a colossal increase in the number of ICE deportation officers. And I want to thank the Border Patrol. These are incredible people. And I want to thank ICE, and in particular, I want to thank Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, and Tom Homan, Central Casting. He's Central Casting. Under my leadership, we will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
Facts, 100% facts. That's what it's all about, family. All the shit that they talking, all the lies, all the bullshit, fuck that. That's the truth right there. This all about closing them borders or keeping them open. Bottom line, you got one person saying that they want to bring in 11 million illegals. tethers, minions, blenders, fleers, and then you got the other guy saying that he wants to close them. So now you having a little supremacist problem here. You got one motherfucker who sees the future of America where they can take all of these peoples of colors, all of these minorities, and elevate them above foundational black Americans. Then you got the other guy who's saying, I don't give a fuck. I don't want them in my country, period. Now that's where the truth lies. That's where their problem lies. And that's what we call it out. They trying to stop his ass from ever sitting in that presidency again because he's representing a threat to too many other supremacists. His version of supremacy is his version of supremacy. Their version of supremacy is we all the world, let's go get a bunch of new folks to do our dirty work. Donald Trump's version of supremacy is we just gonna do it with MAGA. And you see them two motherfucking styles clashing. They got two different strategies and they going right back and forth at it. And they'll say, we'll tear down this goddamn country before his ass is ever president again. So you see, if a supremacist gets in the way of supremacy, anybody can get it. They'll be in the streets throwing fucking blows. They gonna stop him from being president. They will not let Donald Trump be the president again, and we all knew it. Remember that last election was a finesse now. Let's be 110. Donald Trump's winning in every single battleground. We go to bed at night, next thing you know, Joe Biden's winning. And most of us at the New Black Media was calling that shit out. We all said that shit was a finesse and it was fixed as fuck. Joe Biden lost every key battleground state. States that if you've lost historically, you never win. Somehow he lost those and still won the election? Come on. From 12 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning, he walked this man down in all these states. Donald Trump was winning by 30 fucking points. Out of nowhere, Joe Biden ass is winning. We go sleep, wake back up, Joe Biden got a lead. And they was like, Joe walked him down. Joe can't even walk. He can't walk figuratively and literally. So we seen the finesse with that election. Yes, the fuck we did. And I was on record right here saying the only way that Donald Trump was going to lose is if people had a problem with his version of supremacy. I said that shit 3 years ago, and we damn right seen that shit come true because they've been trying to stop this man. The Democrats will only admit to racism or corruption when they can dump it on Trump. They try to make Donald Trump look like he was the 60 million people in their community that practice anti-black racism. They be like, yeah, we got racism, Donald Trump. And the same motherfucker who said that will sit there and write a law that sends black people to jail. The January 6th situation. They were talking about how Donald Trump needs to go to jail for the January 6th situation. But yet you seen everybody involved with it. I'm talking about the people who were literally going into the federal building. There was a mob. That was supremacist on supremacist crime. Once again, that supremacist on supremacist crime. Roe versus Wade, Karen, feminist movement, Me Too movement, supremacist on supremacist crime. And this Donald Trump indictment is supremacist on supremacist crime. All the examples are laid right out, family, and we see them. Damn right we see them. All in the streets. Difference between us and them is that we don't sit back and be like, oh my God, what's happening? We sit back and start laughing. They fighting, y'all. They got some shit fucked up in their household. They airing out all their dirty laundry. All their darkness done came to light. And it's our job to sit the fuck back, watch it, and take advantage of it. That's what you do. Anytime you see some shit like this, family, we take advantage of it. We don't get involved, we take advantage. Big difference between getting involved, like a lot of black folks, oh, I got to save master. Man, fuck him. We gonna sit back, G mode, and peep the whole situation. That's what we doing right here today on the Black AlphaCast Thorough. So yeah, they've been trying to get him out. They was trying to run January 6th on him. They was trying to run all these porn stars on him. Now they finally got something to stick because they see the 2024 election and he's leading in them polls. And by the way, if the January 6th situation was so bad, how come all them people that actually did a mob in the streets, they was only getting like 6 months, 3 months, half of them didn't even go to jail. Now imagine what would have happened if it was black people on January 6th. What would have happened? Would they even have made it to January 7th? No. But the very fact that they had an open air supremacist battle and nobody got any real time, then January 6th couldn't have been that big to them. But Stormy Daniels and Hush Money is? Nah, bruh, it's a whole different game. Because Donald Trump's presidency is basically saying nope to the liberal version of all lives matter, all immigrants matter, their style of supremacy. And they don't like his style of supremacy. His style of supremacy is basically telling the liberals, for all y'all immigration, go get a refund, motherfucker, because we building a wall. Oh yeah, you spent all them billions and trillions of dollars on Jorge? Fuck that. Go get a refund, because we building this wall. It's a complete different style. And anytime you see two different styles of supremacy, you gonna see some open air battles. You gonna see some January 6th. You gonna see some Roe versus Wade. Because 100 times out of 100, when they fighting, it's about different supremacy strategies. And we breaking all that shit down. Oh yeah, we motherfucking cooking right now. Understand that in the system of supremacy, the truth is always layers underneath what they saying. When you watch the news, the truth is always underneath what they speaking. When you read an article, the truth is always underneath what you reading. And whenever these motherfuckers open their mouth, guarantee they lying. If they say down, go up. If they say left, go right. If they say run, you better walk. In the system of supremacy, the elevator's broken. Take the stairs. That's the motherfucking motto. So if you ever, and I mean ever, see anyone from the dominant society on television arguing, on television fighting, or indicting ex-presidents, oh, trust and believe, they're having a battle about the future of supremacy. It all boils down to the future of supremacy. The dominant society, and our brother Neely Fuller teaches us, they have a 100, 200 year plan. A lot of black folks that think about 2 years down the street, nah, fuck that. The dominant society is always wondering how they can make the future better for their little BS. What's a BS? A baby supremacist. They want to make the future the most comfortable, the most luxurious, and the most easy for the little baby supremacists, and they want to give them an economic and a social head start above everybody else. That's why they're willing to steal, to maim, to colonize, and to oppress all the other groups of the world so they can pass down supremacy to the next generation and they can live carefree. They've done it historically, and if you always watch it, that's what happens now. It's the supremacist 100-year plan. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is supposed to get in the way of that 100-year supremacist plan. Even other supremacists. Y'all remember Charlottesville? What happened when that lady was out there saying, I support the blacks. Black lives matter. A guy gassed up his car, didn't he? And he didn't take his foot off the brakes. Fuck no. Because she was getting in the way of the 100-year plan. All them folks that thought they was gonna be goods folks and goes out there and march with Martin Luther King, go look at what happened to a lot of them. There's a severe punishment if you get in the way of supremacy today, and especially supremacy of tomorrow. Look at it historically, family. If you view history, history has always been two supremacists going at each other about who's gonna be the main supremacist. You can't sit there all day long and practice supremacy over somebody else and then come home and not expect you to practice that shit on people around you. When ain't nobody else in the picture, when all the black folks ain't around, they start battling each other. Look at the Revolutionary War. What was that? That was one supremacist fighting another supremacist. The Civil War, that was one supremacist fighting another supremacist. World War I and World War II was one supremacist fighting another supremacist. When you look at the scramble of Africa, or excuse me, let me say the re-scramble of Africa, the one that's going on right now, what do you see? You see America on one side, you see Russia on one side, and they going at it having a supremacist civil war. That's what it's always been about. Because what they want to do, they want to go ahead and dominate the rest of the world, and then when everybody else is gone, they have at it, and then the champion is going to be crowned. That's exactly what it is. That's why if you look, every single major battle, every type of catastrophe, they've been in the middle of all that shit. They've been in the middle of all of that shit and got nothing to do with us because they can't get along with their goddamn self. So right now, when you start talking about the United States of America, you have two different types of supremacists. You got the one supremacist who likes to recruit other people to do the dirty work. Let that person come on in and do our roof. Let that person come on in and mop the floor. Let that person come on in and sweep the house. Yeah, we can get us a good nanny. We can go ahead and get us a good housekeeper. They don't mind that shit. Nah, that's supremacist over here. Hey, typically that's the liberal supremacist. See, the liberal supremacist, he doesn't mind making deals with other little minority groups as long as he can still dominate them and they take a subservient position. But then you got the other one who's a conservative. And the conservative, he ain't out here trying to do that covert shit. He ain't trying to hide it. He ain't trying to make no deals. What he's saying is that I don't want nobody around. He wants to keep it WWW with no E. He wants nothing. He wants a W woman, he wants a W man, and that's it. With little BS kids running around. There's always been this little rift down the middle. And some people try to placate it, and some people try to get rid of it. So we've gotten to the point with the United States of America where the population has changed so much, these demographics have changed, the numbers have went up so much that now this is a subject that they can't put off no more. They can't hide immigration no more. See, immigration was something they used to kind of talk about. They would do polls and say, what's the biggest thing in America? And it would be the economy, it would be a war, and then it'd be immigration. Immigration within these borders in our 50 states have gotten to a fever pitch they cannot deny. It has to be addressed. And it's all coming to a head with Jim Crow Joe Biden and Donald Trump. You got Jim Crow Joe Biden, where he represents that liberal who wants to make little deals with all the folks. Come on over here, Mr. Tetherman. We'll give you what the black Americans created. Come on over here, Mr. Fleer. Flee over here to our country. I got a floor that you can sweep. I got an attic that you can clean. That's that liberal stuff. You go over here to the Donald Trump side. He represents that MAGA, that Billy Bob from the trailer park, that Jethro with no teeth. And if you think Jethro with no teeth is trying to let Mr. Muhammad or Mr. Lumbumba come on over here and share a country with him, you out your goddamn mind. What's the first thing they say? They say, I say deport them all. They don't even speak the language. They don't be playing that shit. They do not be playing that shit. And this has always been a factor. But like I said, it's to the point now where it has to be addressed. They've been talking about immigration for years, family. It's always been something that the dominant society never really got along on. You always had 50-50, one over here, one over there, but nobody really wanted to talk about it. And now you see it, family, it's getting to the point that they're willing to actually change the structure of America and put a motherfucker in jail behind these borders. Because that's what it's all about. Understand, the erasure of our culture only exists if you have a massive group of immigrants in this country. You cannot erase foundational black Americans without recruits. They need recruits to come on in and to replace us. Every erasure has to have a replacer. And we know who the replacer is. It's the same person that liberal that I said doesn't mind having somebody sweep his floor or clean his attic. It's that same liberal that brings that floor mopper or that attic cleaner over here and says, y'all are going to be our new black folks. That's where the term model minority comes from. You notice conservatives never talk that model minority shit. That model minority typically comes from liberals because conservatives, they don't even want minorities. As a matter of fact, there's places down south where you can, and I'm telling you, people who've been down south in the deep south, I'm telling you right now, y'all know what I'm talking about. My family deep down south, come on. There's places down in the south where the W's will fuck with us before they'll ever fuck with any immigrant. Yep, they'll say shit like, well, at least the black folks speak our language. At least the black folks get a job. I got history with him. He fought in all our wars. At least he's not a freeloader like Mr. Muhammad is. Now, when ain't nobody around, they anti-black towards us all motherfucking day long. But let a minority step in the building, then all of a sudden, they start getting all motherfucking nice to us. I done seen that shit down south. So you have a lot of that. The caste system starts to get maneuvered around because we are of the lineage. That's one thing about being of the lineage, being the foundational black Americans that they cannot replace. That shows you right then and there. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say. But our American citizenship is on full motherfucking display. We are the non-deportable. Everybody else can be deported, and that's the difference. I mean, just look at it politically, family. What happened when they tried to run all that West Coast game? Now, mind you, West Coast is the home of the la-la liberal. They've been walking around there throwing pixie dust in the fucking air, bringing in everybody. That's why all those groups go over there and they get free amnesty, they get free driver's license, they get free education, while American citizens get nothing. Look at Skid Row in LA. Look at Skid Row in LA. I'm here to tell you, if you think there'd be a place in the South where you're gonna have an American citizen, I don't give a damn what color they are. If you think there's going to be American citizens in Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, or Kentucky, homeless in the streets, while immigrants are getting free education and Airbnbs, your ass ain't been to the United States. Your ass ain't been to the South. It ain't happening. They don't play that shit down here. The same shit that go on in New York, where the goddamn mayor is up there sleeping in the goddamn tent so he can show all the immigrants that he loves them. You think DeSantis is doing that in Florida? You think Kemp is doing that in Georgia? Fuck no. And look at what happened when they try to bring that Stacey Abrams all lives matter liberal policy of we are the world, can't we all get along, minorities over Americans to the South. Her ass lost. She would have won if she was out in California. What they should have did is they should have ran her ass out in Cali. She would have won. All that all lives matter shit, that works way the fuck out there on the West Coast because the demographics are different. When you come down to the South, you're gonna see a bunch of W's and black people. That's it. You ain't gonna see no Americans in the street while an immigrant is sitting up in a high rise. Ain't happening. But see, here's the reason. This once again shows you that supremacist civil war. They were trying to take all of those liberal policies of all lives matter, the erasure of black folks, and they was gonna try to bring that shit to the South, and it got rejected. And when you looked at Stacey Abrams' numbers, it wasn't black folks who cost her that election. Hell no, they was trying to put that on black men's. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that was the kind of hustle they was trying to run, right? It was like black men's fault. Hell no. It was W women that didn't go for that shit. W men didn't go for that shit because they not picking Julio over Marquise. They not picking Mr. Gomez over Sharonda. They're not picking anybody who's not from America over a foundational black American. Mind you, we are foundational black American. American freedmen. We have America associated with our name. They don't. We have holidays here in America that we did here in America. They not out there celebrating Cinco de Mayo. That's just not happening. Cinco de Mayo is not getting celebrated nowhere near the South because it's a different mind state. And that goes back to that supremacist civil war. I mean, damn, look at it. It's basically the Civil War all over again. What happened? The Northerners, they wanted to make deals with black folks and use us in their army. And the South said, we'd rather lose the war than fight side by side next to a black person. It's the same thing they saying now. They saying we'd rather mop our own goddamn floors and clean our own attic before I let an immigrant do it. That is the difference. That is what fuels the supremacist civil war that we're all watching play out now. Family, when I say we watching it, we watching this shit. Trust and believe. It's going to be all about Stormy Daniels and porn stars and hush money and all that. All that is that layer on top that I was talking about earlier. But when you peel that motherfucker back and you look at it for what it truly, genuinely is, this is supremacy overt versus supremacy covert. This is supremacy anti-immigrant versus supremacy pro-immigrant. This is supremacy left versus supremacy right. This is that 100-year plan and who is going to execute their version of it. Yes. See, what makes our master teachers so smart is that they're able to hear past what's being said. They're able to see past what's being shown. They're able to actually look at it and understand what the fuck is really going on. You got to learn to train your eyes. I'm always saying you got to be able to see the forest through the trees. The ability to locate and identify when you're in a system of supremacy, that is the number one vital thing that you have to have. If you ain't got that, you in trouble. You in trouble because you gonna believe the lie that they tell. And it's all based on lies, so you ain't gonna know shit. If a motherfucker lies 24/7 and you don't know how to identify a lie, then your ass is gonna be fooled 24/7. And in the system of supremacy, your ass only got about 2 seconds to be fooled before it ends bad for you. Bad news gonna beat you home. So we understand exactly when they having spats, when they going at it. This little thing that supremacy is undefeated and they all get along and shit, that's a goddamn lie. I just sat down and gave you a historical perspective of all the fucking fights and the battles they done been in. They battle each other all fucking day long, especially when we not around. The only thing that they really get along with is supremacy. And within supremacy is who's gonna do it the best. So trust and believe, they cannot get along with each other. That's why they're always trying to project that shit on us and say, what about black on black crime now? Now what happens when you say, what about W on W crime? They say, yeah, next subject, change it. Did you see the weather today? What's on TV? They want to change that shit real quick because it goes to show you again, they don't always get along. Not at all. And they make a lot of fucking mistakes. The only problem is that black folks have never been able to capitalize and exploit the mistakes. You know why? It's because a lot of brothers and sisters want to be on one of their sides. They feel the need to have to pick a supremacist, play favorite supremacist. Who's your favorite supremacist? Mine is the one with the red. Mine is the one with the blue. Black folks been doing that for years. That's all a black voter is somebody playing favorite supremacist. Vote blue no matter who, anybody but Trump, you sound like a Trump supporter. They have no concept of being black and independent. See, we come to the game and we say, fuck them on the left, fuck them on the right. I don't give a fuck about Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck about Joe Biden. All I am is a businessman who's going to exploit those two to get what I want. Black folks don't know how to do that. Nah, These motherfuckers want to come out here and say, I'm on Mr. Savior's side. He's going to save me better than he's going to save me. And then the other person say, my savior's better than yours. And then they fight amongst each other over that shit. Now, let me ask you this. When the dominant society sees us fighting, do they pick one of our sides? Or do they just exploit us for their own benefit? You see the difference? We never come at one of their conflicts as independent, but they come at all of our conflicts as independent. They'll say, hey, Mr. Red, you know Mr. Blue over there hates you, right? Hey, Mr. East Coast, you know Mr. West Coast don't like you, right? Hey, Mr. Elder, you know the youth is wrong, right? Hey, black man, you know you need to hate the black woman. Hey, black woman, the black man is your oppressor. And then they walk away laughing and black folks start fighting each other. And then he goes back home to his own house, in his own community, to his own family, because he didn't come to pick a side. He came here to exploit both sides. That's the difference. They exploit both sides of our conflicts. Black folks feel they have to pick a side in the supremacist conflict. But trust and believe when we say it, they fighting all day long. We just ain't exploited it. But you notice the 1 minute that black folks start looking and saying, hey, we ain't gonna vote for the Democratic Party. Matter of fact, we're going to use Donald Trump against the Democratic Party. Why you think after the election, they had all those articles talking about how black folks quit turning out for the Democrats? Black turnout for the Democratic Party is down 10 to 15%. They were very scared about that. Very scared. And it wasn't just because we quit voting. No, it's because we started exploiting both sides. Oh, and by the way, you could thank the black grassroots for that one. That was all black grassroots, because you know the boule, they gonna be sitting there picking savior sides and playing favorite supremacists until they can't walk no goddamn more. Literally. You seen Jesse Jackson? Exactly. So we started saying, fuck that. We're gonna exploit them. I'm gonna use Mr. Red versus Mr. Blue. I'm gonna do a versus in this motherfucker. Hey, we was out here having a versus. We said, oh yeah, well, I might go over here and talk to this guy. What happened with Ice Cube? Ice Cube tried to go to Joe Biden and said, hey, I got a contract for Black America. You wanna talk to me? They said, go to hell. Basically, we'll talk to you later, and still haven't talked to him. This man been president for 3 years and still ain't talked to Ice Cube. Not a motherfucker in his cabinet done talked to Ice Cube. But they did take a bunch of photo ops with Cardi B, Lil Baby, Megan Thee Stallion, sat down and talked to them all day long. Ice Cube, hell nah, because they know where the intellectual brothers coming from, and they know who the ratchets are. They never had pushback until now. We can literally change the whole political atmosphere just by giving them the illusion that we'll vote both ways. That's called exploiting both sides. The same shit they've always done to us. You go nowhere picking favorite supremacists and tying yourself to one W for your whole life because it's the good one. And what that really is folks have to have a savior. They have to have a savior. See, to your average Sambo, they can't live in a world where two W's are against them. They can't live in that world because that would just crush their feelings. They have to have that hope, that cope, that Edmund Pettus Bridge shit. All that Edmund Pettus Bridge energy is that you can't wrap your mind around is that the dominant society, I'm talking about top to bottom, are anti-black. They don't want to accept that. They have to always go find the good ones. That's the good ones. That's the good ones. Man, they little coon hearts would be broke if they found out don't nobody like them. If they found out we ain't got no friends. See, when we hear we ain't got no friends, go look in the mirror. That's good. We love that shit. Hell yeah. That means we ain't got to be out here trying to placate nobody. We ain't got to be out here shaking no hands. Fuck that. We good. Foundational Black Americans take care of foundational Black Americans, and we go on about our fucking day. I like it better that way. I don't need no extra friends. I always tell people, anything you got right here in this FBA house. But they can't handle that shit. That hurt their fucking feelings. So that's why they can never exploit two sides, because they love both sides. You feel me? And that's the difference between us and them. We see what goes on with the left and the right. And now this new era in our generation, what we're doing is we're operating solely off of being independent and black grassroots. We ain't got no friends. We ain't got no buddies. All we see is money. That's it. We're businessmen and women coming with a business claim, and whoever provides us our tangibles will get our attention. And if you do not provide tangibles, then you will not get our attention. It's as simple as that. It ain't even that deep. You see how smooth things operate when you remove all the emotion, when you get out of your feelings, and you just start seeing dollar signs. Black folks back in the day, they was always scattering all over the place, crying, never crying from the dominant society, never, because you playing their game. Black folks would be crying, our lives matter, please take us serious. We don't do that shit. We coming now to the table, we playing chess, not checkers. We got a poker face, and that's why we winning right now, and that's why they don't know what to do, because we're seeing this side of supremacy and that side of supremacy, and we sitting back popping popcorn, flipping pancakes, watching that shit go down. Because we understand every single move and every single decision they make is based upon how they can try to hustle foundational Black Americans. But they can't hustle foundational Black Americans because foundational Black Americans are on code. So they thought they was dealing with the off code that was emotional and in their feelings. Now they dealing with the on code who kicking up dust and don't give a fuck. And that's why this B1 train is moving right along, because we're driving it. So family, family, family. That's why we on game, because we recognize everything and we're making our own boss moves. So many goddamn boss moves. I mean, we done made so many boss moves, I done lost count. Socially, we done made boss moves. They ain't running up on us. Them videos done went down, didn't they? Remember a couple years ago, every weekend there was a new video. Look at a black person being harmed. Look at a black person being harmed. Brothers and sisters ain't going for that shit no more. Y'all notice how them videos done decreased? Yeah, because we getting our self-defense game up and we getting our fuck around and find out game up. And that changes everything. So socially, we making boss moves. Politically, we making boss moves. We out here getting our own black grassroots candidates, pushing our own black grassroots policies. Reparations is the main one. That's a boss move. Brothers and sisters are starting their own businesses. That's an economic boss move. And while we're doing that, and while we're making things happen, and while we getting to the bag and we getting to the money, look at that supremacist civil war going on. They pissed off, ain't they? Fuck Big Mad. Big Mad ain't even a word for the shit. Turn on your TV right now and you gonna see them crying all types of fucking tears. You got one side who's celebrating Trump's indictment, and you got the other side mad as hell. They out there putting up barricades and blockades. They calling up the police so they can come provide protection. It is a supremacist on the supremacist civil war, and we sitting back popping all types of popcorn watching this shit.
This morning, New York officials are ramping up security ahead of his possible arraignment Tuesday. Authorities are bracing for protests and big crowds heading into the weekend.
Meanwhile, the Secret Service is developing security plans along with New York police in case of an indictment.
Here at home, the NYPD has beefed up security over the course of the last week.
Let's get right out to Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini live outside the criminal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Stephanie, what's the scene like out there?
Security is increasing as we speak, and that's because the NYPD must be ready for anything. Barricades and police presence around and close to the courthouse and the building that houses the district attorney's office in Manhattan tonight, as the NYPD is increasing security following news the grand jury voted to indict former President Donald Trump.
I'm live now from Fox, really in the coming really hours and days ahead. Of course, bringing it to you here, and now the wheels are going here, and we will see a takeoff here in just moments. A wheels up moment for Donald Trump heading back to his home of New York City ahead of tomorrow's arraignment. We did learn also some news today that Donald Trump, after the arraignment has concluded tomorrow, it is only expected to go about 15 to 30 minutes. He will be then making his way back to Mar-a-Lago in Florida. That is where he's expected to make some remarks inside of his home there at around 8:15 Eastern tomorrow evening.
They don't know which way to go. Listen, and you hear a whole bunch of different views and a whole bunch of supremacists on supremacist crime.
Strong reaction coming in here at Huntington Beach following the Trump indictment. Reaction coming from those who are still behind the former president, they say, more than ever after what happened. And then you have even strong reaction coming from those who haven't made up their mind yet exactly which way they will vote next year.
A total travesty. They didn't have the evidence. They didn't have the proof.
They mad, y'all.
They indicted him. To me, it was totally politicized.
Doesn't seem like it's a really valid issue. And for us to do this to a past president is shameful, and I'm embarrassed for America.
Oh, I think it's just more of the old Democratic playbook where, they're obviously, they don't want him to run again, and they're trying their best to bring him down on something, but for God's sake.
Whoa, listen what he said right there. He said, they don't want him to run again. They're trying to bring him down on something. Exactly what we said. It ain't got nothing to do with no porn star. Jethro right there, he don't even think it's about a porn star. Karen, who was just talking a minute ago, she don't think it's about a porn star. Nobody believes that it's about a motherfucking porn star. And what have we been saying? That it ain't about a porn star. It's all about them goddamn borders. Keeping them borders closed or having them borders open literally affects supremacy for the next 100 years. Because there is an erasure of our culture, and they need those replacements to come on in, as we've already broke down. And we gonna continue to break this shit down. If you try to replace our culture, and mind you, the replacement has been in. Family, they spend trillions of dollars, time, energy, and effort just so they can stifle our culture. It's all about us. We're in their minds 24/7. We know that. FBA can't do anything without them popping up and being nosy. What y'all doing over there? What's going on? How much money do you make? What's your next move? We know we live in these folks' minds 24/7. We be in our own lane, handling our own business, and every time we do, who comes popping up? Somebody from another community. That's just the way it's always been. If it's about the weather, somehow they thinking about us. They can't stop. If it's about sports, cars, trains, somehow they trying to bring us up. They're thinking about us when they're walking their dogs in public. Don't believe me? Y'all remember that Karen in the woods who called the police on that guy when she was walking her dog and she was fake screaming and shit? She was walking her dog and was still thinking about FBA. You know when the motherfuckers thinking about you when they walking a dog. They can't get you out their mind. Or when they swimming. Remember swimming pool Karen? I mean every goddamn thing. When they're at the store, there was Walmart Karen. Remember that? Their obsession with us occupies every single thing they do, especially with our on-code generation, because they got to be concerned because we making moves. They got to put in overtime to try to stifle us. because we way too strong. But guess what? Not even overtime gonna work. When you bring in all these immigrants from all over the world and you give them all the money you've given, you ain't just handing that shit out just because. You think the dominant society's giving these people who come from all these broken homelands all this goddamn money because they like them? Hell no. You think they're giving them all this money because they're humanitarians? Hell no. They only doing that because they have an agreement that these are the people who are going to replace Black American people. Immigration is nothing more than an investment for our erasure. That's all it is. They sending out billions of dollars, paying them, saying, hey, y'all come on in, here's some money. We need your help. Hey, y'all jump over that fucking border, swim on over here, because trust me, they could stop that shit right now if they wanted to. Donald Trump is talking about building up a fucking wall for the longest, talking about miles of making a wall. You mean to tell me they couldn't do that shit? So if we know it ain't about being a humanitarian, and they not, and we know it ain't about the kindness of their heart, and we know goddamn well that ain't the case, then it's only about erasure, it's about immigration, it's about the 100-year plan. See, when you got somebody on one side who's saying, we got to get FBA out the paint. FBA is the only lineage on the earth that has ever stood up to supremacy. The only one. I'm not talking about a one-hit wonder. You had 2 days where you did some shit. I'm talking about across the board. Foundational Black Americans are the only lineage who has ever fought back. And you know the dominant society sits back and says, we got to get them out the paint and bring in somebody who's submissive. See, they want to get rid of the people who are revolutionary. They want to get rid of the people who have the ancestral soul in them. They hate that shit. They do not like us because we got that ancestral soul and we ain't never took no break. We ain't never laid down and had a fucking nap. We stood tall, got up to get down, and we always been here. And they know that shit. Our existence just throws a wrench in the whole system of supremacy. Yes, the fuck it does. So when you got the other people saying, hey, it's best in our future that we can spend billions of dollars to bring in all these outsiders. And then the other person, his supremacy gets in the way of that. Oh, now you got a conflict now. Now you got a conflict. You got Mr. Liberal saying, hey, I'm spending trillions of dollars for this erasure. Then you got Donald Trump saying, I'm building a wall. Conflict. Oh, we bringing receipts right now. Let's go. You got one motherfucker saying, hey, Mr. Jorge, come on over. I got a job for you. And then you got Mr. Jethro saying, I don't want him in my country. Conflict. You got one person who's saying, come on over to the country. I'll give you amnesty. You can bring all your family and all your kids. Everybody can just come. Then you got somebody else who's saying, fuck them, send their ass home like yesterday. You got one person saying, all lives matter. Immigrants built this country. You got one person saying, no, the fuck they didn't. Only W lives matter in America. Let's proceed. You got one person saying, we spent billions of dollars on immigration to bring their families here. Then you got the other guy saying, yeah, but we spent billions of dollars building a wall to keep their asses out. Oh yeah, you got a motherfucking conflict. A supremacist on supremacist conflict. They ain't gonna say it. They ain't gonna admit it. The black grassroots and the new black media will. Salute. Oh, there's too much money at stake. Oh no, family, there's too much money at stake. They done spent too much goddamn supremacist dollar bills. They done invested too much on immigration to have Donald Trump running around here talking about he gonna build a wall and keep people out. Trust me, if Donald Trump ran for president again, won the presidency, and not only built the wall, but crushed every single immigration policy that the Democrats have put forth for the last 4, 5, 10 years, that would be catastrophic to that 100-year plan of supremacy to erase Black Americans. And now you're dealing with an inter-turmoil and inter-household supremacist on supremacist civil war. Family, we got the motherfucking receipts right here on the Black Alpha Network. Goddamn right. We gonna say it and we gonna show the truth. We gonna say it, we gonna show the evidence. Everything that we done played, this ain't us saying that shit. That ain't us speaking in the goddamn W dialect. Fuck no, that's what they said. That's coming from they side. This is what they're seeing. This is what they're speaking on. And the only thing we doing is diagnosing it and breaking it down. Yes, and motherfucking deed. Yes, goddamn right. Yeah. So family, they mad as fuck and they at each other. Goddamn right. This is all about the borders, man. This is all about the borders. Think about it. They are literally going to change the system. Do you understand that if a motherfucker goes back and he starts arresting presidents and they start saying, Mr. President, you committed this crime, what happens next? Next is going to be a sitting president. Yeah, next they're gonna say, you committed this crime, we gonna go ahead and arrest your ass on the White House lawn. Yep. Or they'll just start going back and looking what every other president has done and they say, oh, we're gonna arrest you, we're gonna arrest you, we're gonna arrest you. There's a reason why this has never happened before. Yes, the very fact that this has never happened before shows you how serious them borders are. We're talking about the borders. Ain't nobody playing about the borders that go around the United States of America. We know about tethers better than any fucking body. We know about folks trying to steal our culture better than anybody. Certified foundational black Americans should understand this subject and the matter at hand better than anyone, because we have to deal with our replacements every day. Every single day there's somebody coming into this country trying to stake claim for what we created. Every single day you see them same politicians who are attempting to erase us, who are recruiting these tethers. You see them all the time on TV, on campaign ads, openly saying things that the whole world knows the FBA created and saying that immigrants did it. Giving all the credit that belongs to us to somebody who ain't even American. Now family, like I say, and I'll say it a million times, they not doing this shit on accident. It ain't no coincidence. It's not like they don't know. They know exactly what foundational black Americans have created because they've been standing in it since they were born. And it's called the United States. And there'd be no USA without FBA. So when Joe Biden was asked about reparations, he gave an answer about immigration. Did not tell you that reparations has to be right here and immigration got to be way across the street, because the closer they allow immigration to get near our reparations claim, they're going to blend it all up and give the immigrants all of our reparations money. Listen to Joe Biden, and this is on the presidential debate. Family, I'm telling you, they got a whole agenda to replace us with immigrants. They out there saying this shit on the campaign where billions of motherfuckers is watching all across the earth. You know this shit about the borders. So the lady asked him, how do you feel about reparations? And somehow he gives us a whole answer talking about how immigrants built America.
Vice President Biden, do you support reparations?
Look, let me, since I haven't spoken on this.
Listen to this, fam.
Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration.
What?
We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America, and we should invest in them. Everybody will benefit from it.
Whoa, hold on. Listen, family, we dropping the motherfucking facts. Didn't I just say that I use their words against them? That's how you get a motherfucker. You ain't got to make up nothing when you speaking the truth. You can just take what they say and throw that shit right on back. Didn't we speak of that 100-year plan for supremacy? Yes, we did. Did Joe Biden just say they are the future of America? Yes, the fuck he did. 100 years equals future. The future is 100 years. He just said on national television that they are the future of America. Now somebody hear that shit and think he just means the future of America. Can't we all just get along? Hell no. He means I done spent this fucking money on these people by the billions, and the future they have is the future where they replace you. That's why the fuck he said it. Motherfucking right. New Black Media don't play. Hey, we own it. We own it all the way live. And notice how he also said we have to invest. Didn't we just say as well that they've been spending too much money on immigration to stop now? I mean, god damn. We said they got a 100-year plan to erase us. He just said they are the future. We said he wants to invest more money in them. He said he wants to invest more money in them. I mean, fuck. How much more thorough can we get? This shit right can't get no righter. If you can't understand that and wrap your mind around them, then your math ain't mathin'. Them receipts is laid out in clear English. He done said the whole motherfucking game plan right there on the goddamn panel in front of the world. And motherfuckers think this shit about hush money. You don't arrest ex-presidents over hush money. You don't change the political structure for a porn star. The only way that happens is if one supremacist is getting in the way of another supremacist plan. And that plan has been laid out. He just told you what it was.
The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America, and we should invest in them. Everybody will benefit from it. Every single American. And you should get used to it. This is a nation of immigrants. That's who we are. That's why we're who we are. That's what makes us different, and we should invest in it.
There it is, family. There they go, bruh. People trying to figure out supremacy. What's their next move? What they gonna do next? He just told you right there. He told you right there, loud. He ain't lie. Motherfucker said, we need to invest, and you need to know this. Now, mind you, when it came to black folks, it's, you ain't black. Did he talk about all that, every opportunity? That motherfucker said, we got to give them every opportunity. He said, they are the future. So not only is he talking to us, he's also talking to other W's, telling them this is the supremacist tactic that we're gonna push for the next 100 years. All that shit about closed borders, all that shit about MAGA, all that shit about build a wall, we not doing that. This is supremacist on supremacist conversation they having. And he's letting them know, trust me, he ain't talking to black folks on that goddamn panel, because they gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do any goddamn way. He's talking to his fellow W's, giving them that dog whistle. Everybody talk about that dog whistle, right? That dog whistle right there is him telling the world, we are going to move forth with this new plan of bringing in these immigrants so we can replace black Americans and put in a new buffer class. That's why we've been supporting the buffer class. That's why he said give them every opportunity. He said get used to it. You think he's talking to us when he says get used to it? No. He's talking to the Donald Trumps of the world. He's talking to the Jethros of the world. He's talking to the Billy Bobs of the world. He's talking to anybody who has a different version of supremacy. Remember, they only go at it because they have two different tactics of supremacy. One motherfucker wants to do it this way. The other motherfucker want to do it that way. And then they have their little spats on who's going to prevail. And that's exactly what that was. And by the way, family, that question was about reparations for foundational black Americans. Did that answer sound like he was talking about reparations for foundational black Americans? Or did he immediately pivot onto a we are a nation of immigrants talk? Took a question for us about reparations and the answer was about immigration for immigrants. How the fuck did that happen? You know why? It's because he's letting it be known through his supremacist dog whistle that this is the plan, this is the agenda, and apparently he's very motherfucking passionate about it. And so passionate that they telling Donald Trump, if you think you gonna fuck up our money or you gonna fuck up our plans, you got another thing coming. These billions of dollars that we spending on the Ukraine, on Mexico, on the Afghan refugees, you better not fuck with it, because I'm gonna make a phone call to a district attorney and we gonna bring up the most pettiest motherfucking crime we can find on your ass. And that's exactly what's going down, family. If you watch it, they'll speak. I told you, let a motherfucker talk long enough and they will expose themselves. Well, supremacy has exposed themselves, and one thing we do right here on the black grassroots, we take advantage of that shit. Hell to the motherfucking yeah. See, Donald Trump, he getting in the way of too many people's investments. That's what that is. They done invested in immigration too goddamn much. He fucking up their dollar bills. They saying, listen, Donald Trump, he getting in the way of my money, put some charges on his ass. Send that motherfucker to the district attorney. We need to get him out the paint. They ain't even worried about him going to jail. All that shit about him going to jail and all that, fuck that. They just don't want him to be president. They're trying to stop his presidency. And if you look at the polls for the 2024 election, Donald Trump is actually the front runner. Yes, Donald Trump in all polls is showing that he is ahead of Joe Biden, because we've seen Joe Biden's America. They used to run off the anybody but Trump. Trump's America's so bad. Trump is bad for black folks. Joe Biden's going to save you. Well, now everybody's had the chance to sit back and live in Joe Biden's America, and we realize that it ain't too fucking good. As a matter of fact, 4 years of Trump has been better than 3 years of Biden. Goddamn right. And a lot of people are noticing that. And they saying that vote blue no matter who shit? Nah, not this election. That anybody but Trump? Nah, fuck that, not this election. People have buyer's remorse with Joe Biden. Kamala Harris literally has the lowest approval rating of a vice president in modern history. Do you understand how big that is? In modern history, when you've had all types of terrible vice presidents. Dick Cheney was a wartime vice president that people hated him. Hell, George Bush despised him. The motherfucking president hated his own vice president, and that guy still got better approval ratings than Kamala Harris. And as a matter of fact, you're seeing a lot of liberals are coming out and they're saying that maybe Kamala Harris shouldn't even be on the ticket in 2024. Maybe they should drop her. Have y'all ever heard somebody come out and say that the vice president should be dropped off the ticket for the next election? I ain't never heard no shit like that. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of liberals out here who say Joe Biden shouldn't even run again. He's too goddamn old. He's deteriorating right in front of us. I mean, look at Joe Biden. He literally tried to shake hands with the air. He tried to shake hands with somebody who wasn't even there. He's deteriorating. The motherfucker walked up Air Force One and fell down 3 times. He fell up 3 times. How you fall up and down? He don't even remember what day of the week it is. He fell off his bicycle when he was standing still. He's deteriorating in front of everybody. His policies haven't worked. He hasn't done a goddamn thing for black folks. And now the black grassroots are starting to look in other directions and say, hold up, maybe we will go listen to the other side, because it's got to be better than this shit. We sat back and watched the Democratic Party and Black Lives Matter hijack every rally and protest for unarmed black people who were harmed, and Joe Biden still ain't did shit for black folks. Remember all the George Floyd changed America? He said George Floyd affected America more than Martin Luther King. That's what he said. And still haven't passed the George Floyd Act. And mind you, the Democrats had full control over the White House, over the Senate, and the House of Representatives. And ain't did a goddamn thing for black folks, but we sat back and watched him on day one write executive orders, hate crime laws, bills, tangibles, and resources for every single minority group in the country. That dinosaur, 997-year-old man, he literally hijacked George Floyd's protest to the point where he disrespected Martin Luther King's legacy. He compared George Floyd to Martin Luther King. Family, I ain't lying. I ain't lying, I'm telling the truth. He literally took George Floyd and compared him to Martin Luther King so he can get some black votes. That's what they do. They take black legends, black heroes, black pain and suffering, don't give no reparations for it. They just come out and make bullshit ass statements so they can go get the black vote. And I lied to you not. This man said George Floyd had more of a worldwide impact than Martin Luther King Jr. When a motherfucker fixes their lips and says some shit like that, you know they'll do anything for a vote.
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact
what
that George Floyd's death did. Well, what George Floyd happened to George Floyd, now you got how many people around the country? Millions of cell phones. It's changed the way everybody's looking at this. Look at the millions of people marching around the world.
What the fuck?
World. So my point is that I think people are really realizing that this is a battle for the soul of America. Who are we?
Family, y'all heard that shit. Y'all heard that shit because he said that shit. Do y'all think 30, 40, 50 years from now, we're going to have George Floyd boulevards, George Floyd bridges, George Floyd Day, George Floyd monuments? Or did he just say that shit so he can get some emotions out of black folks so they can go on down to that Democratic plantation and place that vote? Exactly. That's the type of shit they on. And that's the type of shit that we expose. Checkmate. You see where the priorities are? You see the supremacist plan? You see how they want to elevate every group above us and bury us under immigration, which every foundational black American has been seeing, framing, and spotlighting. All of our master teachers have been saying it. The fix has been in. It ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing new. When we sit here and say there's a 100-year plan to erase foundational black American culture, look and watch it happen. See that foundational black Americans are denied access to home loans. They're denied access to jobs. They're denied access to education. But immigrants get it above us. We the people who built this country. But they get it above us. When you see foundational black Americans are homeless, but yet these folks is laying in Airbnbs and 5-star hotels. Come on. It ain't nothing new, family. It's all easy to see. Joe Biden just sat there and told everybody. The dots ain't even hard to connect at this goddamn point. We all know that the erasure is in, and we all know who they brought in to replace us with. Oh, you want to hear the truth? We got the receipts right here. Listen to him on the Bill Maher show talking about how Kamala Harris needs to step down in the next election. And not only did he say it, listen to the crowd full of all liberals. Them is all liberals. That ain't no conservative crowd. That's out there in California. Listen to the crowd of all liberals start to not only agree, they start to cheer.
What I could see is replacing the vice president because
they cheering. Listen.
It's not very popular anywhere. And it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket. I just think she's a bad politician.
Damn. They said Kamala Harris needs to step down. She's a bad politician and don't nobody like her. Translation, she need to take her ass home because she fucking shit up. That's what they said, not us. That's liberal talk. And Donald Trump's presidency is getting in the way of all that. So you seeing all types of W on W crime in the street. I told you, they out there building blockades and barricades out in the street. They waiting for incoming drama. They waiting for motherfuckers to start flipping shit up. They got protests and rallies all over the goddamn country. They arguing and feuding and fighting. You got Team Trump versus Team Biden, Team Democrat versus Team Liberal. One motherfucker saying it's a great day for America. The other motherfucker saying it's a dark day. One motherfucker saying that justice has been served. The next motherfucker saying this is a broken, corrupt system. Now, it ain't ever a broken and corrupt system when it does us harm. Oh, no. But now the same motherfuckers who tell us, be a good patriot now, all lives matter. Now these motherfuckers is out here in the street saying how unfair shit is. Now they talking about the political system is broken and shattered. Nah, fuck that. Let it be. Let it go. I thought everything was fine. I thought if your ass do the crime, you got to do the time. I thought that's what it's about. That's what they tell us. Let's wait till the facts come out. We don't know yet. What about all that shit? Nah, they flip-flopping all over the place because they in disarray. And that's what it is, family. They're in disarray. And that happens from time to time whenever you see these motherfuckers going at it. I'm telling you, you ain't seen these many W's fight each other since the Civil War. Because this is a civil war. This is a modern civil war. This is the supremacist civil war, and we watching that shit play out in real motherfucking time. Look at these folks fight. Listen to these folks fight. Witness these folks fight. They at each other's neck. They going crazy. You want to hear some wild shit, family? You want to hear these folks spazzing out? You want to hear how it's really going down? Listen to this shit, family, because these W's is going crazy.
My heart is broken.
I'm holding my head down in shame.
I had some tears in my eyes earlier.
I feel bad for the guy. This is what it seems to be. It's a political purge. This is burning down the rule of law.
This is going to destroy America.
This is like communist level shit.
They fighting, y'all.
Exactly like what happened during the fall of the Roman Republic.
They big mad.
Purges. This is literally
they pissed.
Voodoo.
The Bill of Rights is gone. They have declared, quote unquote, the Roman Civil War.
You can't trust Democrat prosecutors anymore.
Whoa, now y'all heard he said Civil War? That wasn't me saying it. He said Civil War. The same exact motherfucking thing we called out. New black media wins again. Let's go.
Or if you're a fair citizen of the United States of this country.
They are after Donald Trump because they're really after you.
They have spent probably trillions.
Hold up. Didn't I say that they done spent trillions of dollars on immigration? They're spending trillions of dollars to stop Donald Trump. Damn, we undefeated with it at this point. New black media. Proceed.
Violence from the right, from the beginning.
We're in a police state. I'm not even arguing this.
They're still not doing anything with Hunter.
Think of the Hunter Biden laptop.
33,000 deleted emails. This is too great an assault on our system, much greater than anything we saw on January 6th.
They will regret doing this.
What you're seeing now is lawlessness, and the question is who can stop it.
And that's all I'll say about that.
Probably not the best time to give a grade AR-15, and I think most people know that. DonaldJTrump.com. Go tonight, give the president some money.
We're going to fight for Donald Trump, but we're just rallying behind the man today with ham sandwiches.
There you motherfucking go again with more receipts. Damn. They mad as fuck. They mad. That's a civil war all goddamn day long. This is it. This is the end of America. The end of democracy. You know when they start saying it's the end of America, all the oppression and shit, they don't never say that, right? All the things, all the anti-blackness, no, it's just a great day in America when that happens. But let them not get their goddamn way and they start throwing a goddamn hissy fit. You see them? That's what they doing. They having a whole fucking meltdown, having a hissy fit. They can't take this shit. And I'm laughing. Yup, laughing all the way through. Because that's what we need to be doing. Sitting back, watching, laughing, popping popcorn, and having a good ass time. A good ass time. Because when two W's are going at it like they going at it right now about this situation, that shit funny as fuck. Karen, Ken, and Bob can have at it. I sit here and watch the whole goddamn thing. That's what we doing. Because it's playing for us. We still going after reparations. We still getting our tangibles. We still separating. Ain't nothing changed. And goddamn it, them motherfuckers is throwing bows out there. They heated. What do you see missing from all this? When you sit back and you watch these rallies and these protests and these people on TV having meltdowns, what's missing? What don't you see? Black people. Foundational black Americans ain't involved. They in this motherfucker talking about something. We need those good minorities of color. They're the new colored folk. They listen to us. They bow down. They like being tethers. Those FBAs fight back. Oh yeah, they having a whole lot of public, private conversations all across the goddamn spectrum. But it don't change a motherfucking thing. And Trump is getting in the way of their money. So they're like, fuck that. Charge him, indict him, arraign him. They're willing to set a new precedence for the presidency, all because he's getting in the way of the dollars that they done spent on immigration. The only time they do that, family, is if you get in the way of supremacy. If you understand the system of supremacy, then you know supremacy is the only thing that they jeopardize over the presidency. They're taking the office of being the president and they're willing to push that shit to the side so they can serve this immigration plan. Ain't that a motherfucker? It lets you know how invested they are in the whole system. Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, supremacy is the only thing they're willing to fight over publicly. They won't fight over nothing publicly. Like we said, that meth pipe and all that shit and the mashed potatoes and the Brussels sprouts, they leave that shit to when they go inside their house when the door closed. So the very fact that they're openly fighting over Donald Trump, they're openly fighting over the DA, they're openly fighting over porn stars, that lets you know that this is a supremacist civil war. They only fight publicly when they got a difference of supremacist opinion. Let me say that one more motherfucking time. Yes, they only fight publicly if they have a difference of supremacist opinion. 9 times out of 10, when you see them fighting, they have a difference of supremacist opinion. He wants to do it this way, he wants to do it that way, they're gonna go to war. She wants to do it this way, she wants to do it that way. They can't get along, then their ass is gonna go to war. Anytime they ever war publicly, it's because one person has a different supremacist tactic than the other. That's what's going on with the Ukraine and Russia right now. The Ukraine, Russia, America, that's just 2 supremacist opinions that clash. 2 supremacist tactics that clash. 2 supremacist approaches that clash. That is what it's all about. And that's what the Donald Trump indictment is about. 2 different supremacist tactics that are clashing. So anytime you see something like this on TV playing out, you don't have to guess, you don't have to think, you don't have to figure out what it's over. You already know. And that's what it's always been on this subject. One president will come in and he'll say, everybody come to the country. The next president will come in and he say, can't nobody come into the country. Supremacists have been doing this tug of war for years. Obama wrote all those DACAs and dreamers and said, everybody come on in. Trump on his first day, he said, we getting rid of all that shit. And what was that? That was fucking with their money, and that was fucking with their 100-year plan. They say a lot of things in covert. They say a lot of things in dog whistles. You got to have that third eye to understand and translate supremacist talking points. They'll say some shit, make it sound real nice and humanitarian, but when you look past that shit and you peel back the motherfucking layers, you know they talking to each other. See, black folks think they talking to us. A motherfucker get on there and say, we need more immigrants because we need to build the country and better. And black folks be like, man, that's true now. He was talking to us. No, the fuck he wasn't. He was talking to the other dominant society members. Y'all remember how I broke down that Jane Elliott shit? We broke that shit down. We exposed how Jane Elliott is a fraud. She's a lie. And every time she's talking, she makes it seem as if she's talking to black people. But in reality, she's talking to other W's. And she's telling them, y'all need to change and shift over your supremacist tactics because the old ways aren't going to work tomorrow. See, once again, black folks be thinking Jane Elliott is a gangster and she's auntie. Fuck no, she's supremacist. And she's using supremacist dog whistles. That's all they ever fucking do. And if you listen to her talk when she's saying, by the year 2050, we're gonna be the minorities, these coons think that she's lecturing W's. No, she's not. She's not lecturing W's. She's putting them up on game. She's trying to prepare her offspring for supremacy tomorrow because she sees the way things are turning. It's the same reason why Joe Biden keeps talking about we're going to be the minority in this country. Y'all know we hear that all the time. And a lot of folks start throwing their motherfucking pom-poms in the air and you say, man, in a few years, W's is going to be the minority in this country. And I always say, well, what the fuck that mean? You think just because they're the minority, supremacy is going to go away? They're the minority in Africa and they be over there doing all types of shit. And here in America, them knowing that they're going to be the minority, why you think they want to bring in so many new recruits? Why you think they want to bring in so many new minions, so many new puppets, so many tethers, so many freedmen? You see the rhyme and reason in that? You got to dig deeper than that shit. That's what we do, certified black society. We see the forest through the trees. We see through all the motherfucking smoke. We see through it. I don't give a fuck what they say. We gonna look past that and we gonna get to the real root of why they saying that shit. Too many motherfuckers hear what they say, but they don't understand why they said it. I know why Joe Biden is always saying we're gonna be the minority soon. I know why Jane Elliott's always saying we're gonna be the minority soon. They're not saying that shit so they can lecture the dominant society to be nice. It ain't no humanitarian statement. It's them preparing everybody that we're gonna be at a numerical disadvantage in the future. So therefore, we're gonna have to shift around our supremacist tactics. See, Donald Trump and them, they're not going for that. This is what we talking about. This is that supremacist civil war. We breaking it down today. Smash that like button. Black Alpha Network, certified black society, new black media. We gonna stay on top of everything. We gonna ride the goddamn wave and speak truth all the way to power. Black empowerment. You got half of them who understand that you can operate differently when you got a numerical advantage. Then you got the other half of them who don't give a fuck and they gonna continue to do what they do. So they've been battling back and forth about should we change our tactics up because we are about to be at a numerical disadvantage. And then the other people are saying, no, let's continue to do what we do. Supremacy always has a remodeling stage every 30 to 40 years. Every 30 to 40 years, supremacy has a complete makeover. They always remodel the whole fucking house. They'll have little pieces here or there that they'll change up, shift around just to go along, to get along. But every 30 to 40 years, they have a complete makeover. And we're watching that makeover happen right now. They did the same thing coming out of the civil rights era. See, back in the civil rights era, it was, man, fuck that. You can't come through the door. You can't come through the door. Oh, you make $1 million? Your ass still got to walk through the back. Oh, your ass make $5. You still got to walk through the back. Why you think you heard Muhammad Ali saying when he came back from the Olympics and he wanted to go get a hamburger, they said, I don't give a fuck who you are. You don't won the gold medal. You don't won the Olympics. Your ass still don't get served here. He said he saw Africans getting served above him. Yes, he did. Y'all seen the clip. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest Americans of all time. He won the Olympic gold medal for the United States of America right there in Louisville, Kentucky, went back home to go get a hamburger, and they said, I don't give a shit what you won. Your ass cannot get served here. But Mr. Lumbumba can come on in. You see the tactics way the fuck back then. We got receipts, family. You see the tactics way the fuck back then. And then all of a sudden, they went through a remodeling stage. They started to say, well, how about we let a few hand-selected ones come on in? Let Michael Jordan come on in through the front door. We'll give him a hamburger. Let Oprah come on in through the front door. We'll give her a hamburger. Everybody else, they got to keep their ass on the outside. So this is when you started to see them slowly hand-selecting and cherry-picking folks to come on in. Back in the 1960s and 70s, Muhammad Ali had to come through the same back door that your grandma and grandpa came through. My grandmother, your grandmother, my grandfather, your grandfather, and Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they all had to come through the back fucking door. There was none of this Oprah, Michael Jordan shit. Hell no. But then supremacy went through a remodeling stage. They had another supremacist makeover. And they realized we can go further if we just cherry pick certain ones and let them come on in. And then we can elevate them above other people. This goes back to the plantation. Back in the plantation, they would say, let's go get him, him, and him. They don't fight back. We'll make them the house Negro. But the field Negroes, they fight back. So the house Negro, he can have some advantages. And then he'll turn on everybody else to serve us. It's the same thing they started doing with Michael Jordan and with Oprah Winfrey. And while our grandparents had to go through that goddamn back door or not even get served at all, we were the ones representing the field Negroes. And you see the same thing playing out today with immigration. Foundational Black Americans, our lineage, heritage, and culture, we represent the certified field Negroes. Well, we say, fuck your back door, fuck your restaurant, we gonna build our own shit. But Mr. Lumbumba, Mr. Jorge, Mr. Muhammad, Mrs. Sanchez, they represent the tap dancer, the butter biscuit chaser. They represent the I'll do anything to be next to massa. Now understand that half supremacy is going to prefer them, but you always going to have that other half of supremacy that doesn't give a shit about none of that. They don't like nobody. That's why you got the one person who says, no reparations for black people, period. Then you got the other person who says, well, I support reparations for black people. I'm running on a reparations platform. What do those two people have in common? What does the overt and the covert person have in common? What does the sneaky one and then the one who's acting endearing have in common? Neither one of them fuck with you. It's the bite and the smile, the bite and the growl. Malcolm X has always spoke about it, and I always quote that. It's the wolf and the fox. It's the one who says, I'll do anything to confuse y'all versus the other person who says, I ain't trying to confuse nothing. My supremacy is just going to be on the table. And this is why you see the rift. This is why you see one supremacist who wants to bring in minions and the other person who don't want no fucking minions. And they battling, and they feuding, and they fighting. And immigration has always been here, but the problem is that they didn't have the numbers up. Now there's so many immigrants in this country, it has gotten to the point where they have to have this battle publicly. This battle has gotten to the point where it done fell on the White House lawn. This was never some shit that ever got to the top levels of American society. Yeah, they'll have a little presidential campaign. They'll have a little presidential debate. How do you feel about immigration? Well, I feel this. I feel that. And they'll have their differences between Republican, Democrat, overt, covert. We want some puppets. We don't give a fuck about puppets. Deport their ass. They'll have those little debates at the presidential stops, but they never had this shit get to the point where they're indicting former sitting presidents. Like we said, you know it's a big deal when they asses are willing to change the system and change the precedents for the presidency in order to serve this agenda. So it lets you know that there is a supremacist civil war going on. And us right here at the New Black Media, we the ones who are really highlighting it, framing it, and calling it out. Ain't nobody else gonna speak on this, family. They just gonna say, man, Donald Trump getting arrested. Oh man, how you feel about this? Man, it's crazy now. Man, fuck that. It run way deeper than this. And everything I just said right there broke that shit down crystal clear, unequivocally. I said we was gonna get to the facts and we was gonna unpack. Well, consider that shit unpacked and on the motherfucking table. Now, what somebody chooses to do with it, that's on their asses. But certified hunted, we gonna see it for what the fuck it is, and we gonna be able to navigate around the whole motherfucking game. And the first step to navigating around that shit is not only framing it, putting it on that goddamn Jumbotron Summer Jam screen. We done did that. The next step is connecting all those dots on how it goes back into the erasure of our lineage, heritage, and culture. There ain't no coincidence, family, that the same time when we are separating, we're delineating, they're literally having conversations about asking people on the census, are you a descendant of slaves? I posted this the other day, family. You know what that is? That's the foundational Black American grassroots effect is real. You know it's real. The very fact we making these motherfuckers go back to the drawing board and ask us, are y'all descendants of slaves? What do you want to be classified as? What is y'all designation? They had never did this shit a couple years ago. You know why? Because the motherfuckers in the boule would have let that shit slide. The same boule motherfuckers who participate in our erasure. Because remind you, the NAACP, everybody on the Democratic plantation, they're just as responsible in the attempt to erase our culture as the tethers are. That's why we say you have the tether protectors out here. And you got to G-check both of their asses at the same damn time. So the very fact that we are making the government answer questions about reparations, answer questions about the census, answer questions about designations and classifications, that just shows you that the Black grassroots is powerful as ever. And the very fact that we're powerful as ever, tying that in with the immigration crisis and tying that in with the supremacist civil war, man, there's a hell of a lot of shit going on. It's gonna be a hot summer, but we here for it. Been here for it all day, 24/7. And we about to ramp it up. Let's go. Let's throw some motherfucking receipts on the table. Left and right, right and left. You know how we said that they're willing to change the precedents of the presidency? They're willing to change the whole structure, and that's indication that this is a supremacist civil war? Because if it wasn't a supremacist civil war, this shit wouldn't even be a story, and you would never indict no president. Never. Well, you see motherfuckers is out there scared because now you seeing people saying, well, what's next? We gonna go back in time and start arraigning other presidents? We gonna start putting charges on other presidents? Oh, they scared. This shit done sent a whole lot of aftershocks throughout the whole political system. This shit done got all the supremacists looking over their shoulders.
Well, I think what we're gonna do now is, see, this was a city prosecutor, not even in a state. So it'll be open season now for any emeritus president. So when Joe Biden leaves office, a prosecutor in Sacramento, California, or Biloxi, Mississippi, or Billings, Montana may file a writ and say, you know what, you broke the law here, there, on your dealings with Ukraine or China or Russia, or you used a bank wire transfer in our state, whatever slight relevance it would be to jurisdictional authority, you're going to have an open season on the out party. So this is exactly what the founders in the Federalist Papers warned against.
Man, hey, y'all heard that shit? You caught that? He's saying that they're going to start going after ex-presidents left and right. It's going to turn into a left-right political thing. What do we say? These motherfuckers is going back and forth and back about the same shit. But once they started this indictment, they done changed the game. Like I just said, they changed the game. Well, that's a game changer. Oh yeah, big motherfucking game changer. And like we say about foundational Black American excellence, it doesn't just occur here in America, it's global. This is going across the whole goddamn planet. Trust me, anything that goes on in the United States of America, that shit has effects all over the planet. They talking about the Donald Trump indictment on the other side of the ocean. Yes, the fuck they are, because guess what? They have that supremacist battle here the same way they're having that supremacist battle over there. Goddamn right. Go to Europe right now. Europe right now, they got a whole immigrant problem. The same way that you got supremacist A who wants to bring in immigrant recruits so they can make up for that numerical disadvantage they're about to have by the year 2050. You got people over in Europe and they got the same dilemma, going through the same process. You got supremacist A who wants recruits, you got supremacist B who don't want no goddamn body.
Decades of instability and unrest have fueled irregular migration into Europe, and it's at the centre of political discourse in the region. In the last year, the UK has witnessed more than 40,000 refugees arriving via the English Channel, all seeking asylum.
It is not cruel or unkind to want to break the stranglehold of the criminal gangs who trade in human misery and who exploit our system and our laws.
But some campaigners are concerned that a harsh response ignores fundamental human rights.
Doesn't that sound just like over here? You heard what that lady said? That was the UK Parliament debating just like they do right here in the United States Senate. She said, it ain't cruel and unharsh to send these motherfuckers home. to sink their boats. I'm telling you, they got some hardliners. And anywhere you see the dominant society, you're going to find these peoples of colors and these minorities that want proximity next to them. And then the dominant society is going to argue over whether we should bring them in or whether we shouldn't. Whether we should add them as recruits and puppets or we should leave their ass in their home country. That's the issue that you always see. So the same thing is going on over there, the same way it goes on here. A supremacist on supremacist fight on whose strategy is going to work the best. And they fighting back and forth. So they're watching the Donald Trump situation play out and they see it happening over there. I told you we was going to ramp it up. I told you we was about that fire. I told you we was going to bring the smoke and we going to see through the smoke. Guarantee you, when foundational black Americans put it on the line, shit gets done. Listen.
History is once again being made in the United States with the first indictment of a former president. The charges themselves remain sealed, so we don't know exactly what they are, but they relate to payments made to an adult film star during the 2016 presidential election campaign.
Donald Trump has become the first former United States president to face criminal charges. The case in New York relates to alleged hush money payments to an adult entertainer before the 2016 election. Mr. Trump denies wrongdoing.
News out of New York. A Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict former President Donald Trump over alleged hush money he paid to the adult film star Stormy Daniels during his 2016 presidential campaign.
Boom. See what we talking about? They having this conversation all over the world because the dominant society has always had this dilemma. And it's to the point where there's been so many immigrants in the UK. There's been so many immigrants in Germany. There's been so many immigrants in Belgium. There's been so many immigrants right here in America. You're seeing the same pattern play all the way out everywhere you see the dominant society because this is the new wave. This is the time and the shit done got real. Y'all heard it. That was 3 different British accents. Over in America, back in America, Donald Trump, they talking that shit over there because they got the same problem. You see the immigrants over there getting ran the fuck out. Yes, they are. They bringing in motherfuckers and telling them, listen, turn your boat around right now. You see all the time stories about people coming from Africa and they're getting their boats turned around and they're sinking and drowning. They don't give a fuck. I'm telling you right now, over there, they are ruthless with that shit. They don't want them in the UK. They don't want them in Germany. They don't want them in Italy. They're turning everybody around because they feel they have an immigrant problem. The same way right here in America, they feel they have an immigrant problem. And you got supremacist A and supremacist B, and you got the house Negro and the field Negro supremacist tactics. That's why over in the UK, they be fighting in Parliament, and right here in America, they be fighting in the Senate. Go look at them fighting about immigration in the Parliament in the UK, and then watch them fighting over immigration in the Senate here in America. It looks like the same thing. Because it is the same thing. It's supremacist on supremacist crime. And we have framed that shit right here today. The dominant society gonna do what they do, but it's on us to frame that shit and understand what we looking at. See, you can look at something, but if you don't understand what you're looking at, then you don't get no power. Understand it, identify it, break it down. That's how we doing it. Class in motherfucking session, and we gonna continue to light them up. So when you see them arguing over there in the UK, saying, get these immigrants out of our country, and then you see them here in America saying, get them goddamn immigrants out of here. It's the same battle that they've always had. Only difference is now is that shit done went to the top levels, and it's not just the top levels in America, it's also the top levels in Europe.
We're in Rinkeby, a neighbourhood in the north of Stockholm. Sweden has been seen as an example for the rest of Europe for the way it receives and integrates immigrants. However, in 2010, a far-right party entered parliament for the first time, and since then, racist attacks have multiplied.
They over there doing the same type of attacks. They over there sending them home. They over there wilding the fuck out. And that's in Sweden. And it's also in Italy. And it's also in Belgium. It's in Germany. It's in the UK. It's all across the goddamn European peninsula. Because Europe is not a continent. It's the same exact motherfucking thing.
Some 90% of this suburb's 15,000 residents hail from outside Sweden. They told Euronews about some of the problems that they faced in the past. They said racist incidents were becoming more common.
One day I was out with my friends, and then there come some people that say, what are you doing here? Something like that, like you are not, it's not your country, what are you doing here? And it's only like he went there to buy some hamburger to eat. So he started like to say something back, and then there's like one girl, she attacked him. And like he was like, wow, let me attack back or something. So they came maybe 7 people to attack him. So they beat him.
They hate Muslims. not all the foreigners, they hate Muslims. If all the foreigners also are working here, if they stop working for 2 or 3 days, then they had to realize what will happen to their country.
Betcha. Same thing. He said he was walking and somebody came up, said, what the fuck you doing here? And then 7 motherfuckers jumped on him and whooped their ass. They doing that. But I told you, they ruthless over there. They sending motherfuckers home. As a matter of fact, if you remember that Boris guy over in the UK, he was their prime minister, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody said that he was the UK version of Donald Trump because he ran on an anti-immigration platform, just like Donald Trump ran on an anti-immigration platform. Let's say this, while they was running around here saying, vote blue no matter who, anybody but Trump, Trump is going to be the most worst president ever for black folks. What policy, and I ask this to everybody right now, what policy, not words, not running his mouth, what policy did Donald Trump create that harmed foundational black Americans? What legislation did he pass that harmed foundational black Americans as a lineage, heritage, or culture? We'll wait. Answer, none. Now, what laws and legislation did he create that went after illegal immigrants? Exactly. He had a whole plethora of them. He reversed DACA, built a wall, and he put in ICE like ICE had never been put in before. As a matter of fact, right now, he's saying if he wins again in 2024, which is the reason why they're trying to indict him now, because they're doing anything to stop that man from running for president, because not only have they seen that he's whooping Joe Biden's ass in the early poll numbers, they're also seeing that foundational black Americans like the idea of a closed border, because we wised up and the boule is gone, and they can't go to Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson and get them to run that love everybody but yourself bullshit on us no more. That's what happens when the new black media and the black grassroots is in effect. Shit gets accomplished. So now they're saying we got to stop Donald Trump from running for president, because if these early poll numbers are true, in the last election results where black folks quit fucking with the Democratic Party, and they know, the Democrats know the fix is in. Black folks are leaving the Democratic Party like we've never left them before, and that's all sponsored by the black grassroots. Don't let nobody tell you differently. The term black agenda, tangibles, reparations, and the Democratic plantation falling to the fucking ground is all a result of us. Every last one of y'all, me, the whole team, let's pop our collar, pat ourselves on the motherfucking back, because that is because of us. We came in and did what them old dinosaur Negroes couldn't do in 60 years. We did it in 5. Exceptional. They couldn't leave the Democratic Party if they fucking tried. These motherfuckers used to run for the Democratic Party. Then when they couldn't run anymore, then they had to walk for the Democratic Party. Then when they lost the ability to walk, they had to get on a walker for the Democratic Party. And then when they lost all their ability to even stand, they had to get in a fucking wheelchair for the Democratic Party. We came in early in the game and said, gone. Exceptionalism. That's what we are. So they trying to put a stop to that. Because like we said, when supremacists puts down money by the billions and the trillions, and supremacist has a 100-year plan, they ain't trying to let nobody get in the way of that shit. Nobody. Not even an ex-president. Like we said, they're willing to change the whole fucking game just in order to stop that from happening. There's 2 big threats to this erasure of our culture. There's 2 big threats to this influx of immigration. It's certified foundational black Americans at the black grassroots who have denied and rejected the we are the world, all lives matter, bring everybody in. And it's Donald Trump's presidency by building the wall. Those are the 2 biggest factors in preventing all of this shit. Because you've seen Joe Biden come out and say, hey, we're going to bring them all in. Kamala Harris came out and said we're going to bring them all in. Barack Obama was president and he brought them all in. You're seeing immigrants come in at staggering numbers that have never been seen before. Never been seen before. We got receipts. As a matter of fact, I'm about to let you hear them. Immigration has skyrocketed to the point that they're catching thousands of immigrants at the border a day. Thousands a day, family. All statistical data that has come out has proven since Barack Obama and Joe Biden were presidents, immigration has gotten to the point that not only foundational black Americans, but Americans as a whole cannot withstand it. So whenever they're putting Americans on that bind, and mind you, you have homeless American veterans in the street. You got W's who are homeless American veterans, and they still bringing in migrants on a day-to-day basis. Because you know what they see them people as? They see them motherfuckers as a supremacist sacrifice. If a W has to be homeless for them to bring in 2,000 illegal immigrants on a Wednesday so they can continue this 100-year plan, then that's just gonna be a homeless motherfucker. That's the way they look at it. You don't believe me? Check this out. Did y'all see when that lady came in and she talked to Nancy Pelosi and she said, yo, my son was harmed by an illegal. This is what she said. This is a W woman who's talking to another W woman. And she tells Nancy Pelosi, she said, my son was harmed brutally by an illegal. We need to do something about the border. I want y'all to hear Nancy Pelosi's answer and tell me if she gives a fuck about what that lady said, or if they'll let anybody get in the way of stopping their 100-year immigrant replacement plan. Not even Karen or Karen's son. Hold up, let me hit play. Y'all got to hear this shit.
In 2010, one of the illegals slaughtered my son. He tortured him, he beat him, he tied him up like an animal, and he set him on fire. And I am not a one-story mother. This happens every day because there are no laws enforced at the border. We have to start giving American families first.
Again, I commend you for sharing your story. I can't even imagine the pain. No, I can't even imagine. There's nothing, I'm sure, that can compare to the grief that you have. And so I pray for you. I pray for you. And
now listen to what she's about to say.
again, we all pray that none of us has to experience what you've experienced. So thank you for channeling your energy to help prevent something like that from happening. But I do want to say to you that in our sanctuary cities, our people are not disobeying the law.
Damn.
These are law-abiding citizens. It enables them to be there without being reported to ICE in case of another crime that they might bear witness to. The point is that you do not turn law enforcement officers into immigration officers.
Damn.
That is really what the point is in a sanctuary city. So it's not a question of giving sanctuary to someone who has is guilty of a crime.
God damn, wow. Very motherfucking rarely does some shit make me stop for a second. That shit let me know. Family, don't let anybody tell you that the 100-year supremacist plan ain't real. Don't let anybody tell you that the supremacist civil war ain't real. And don't let anybody tell you that the erasure of our culture ain't real. You just sat back and heard a W woman tell another W woman. Let's give the translation. Okay, let's fuck that. Let's give the translation. She basically said, fuck you and your son. That's what she said. Oh yeah, that happened to you? And then mind you, the lady said, I'm not the only one. There are plenty more stories, and it's probably a bunch of W women. There's plenty more stories of illegals doing this to our children. And Nancy Pelosi, who told another woman, another W woman, fuck you. Don't give a damn. You or your son ain't gonna get in the way of this supremacist plan. So y'all can sit your ass down. You or your son ain't getting in the way of this plan. That homeless veteran ain't getting in the way of this plan. The ex-sitting presidents, Donald Trump, ain't nobody getting in the way of this supremacist 100-year plan. So bring in undocumented recruits. Goddamn. Goddamn. There's the truth, and then there's what the fuck we just heard. There's facts, and then there's what the fuck we just heard. There's receipts, and that's what the fuck we just put down. Whenever you see a W woman telling another W woman, you can go to hell because I'm going to bring in Julio. When the fuck has Karen said, I prefer Julio over your horror stories about illegal documentation? When the fuck have you ever heard that? You ain't never heard it because it ain't never happened. And the only time it will ever happen is if those illegals are going to play a role in assisting and supporting supremacy. That's it. Now, mind you, that's Karen's story. We all know what some of these people are doing to black folks out there on the West Coast. The whole Noonie Martinez situation, the city council, redlining black folks, calling the black kid monkey. We all know this shit. But when you hear them telling Karen, we don't give a damn, that shit ain't moved an inch. And Karen thought she was gonna get up there and get some W tears, and they was gonna say, oh, okay, let's talk. She said, I don't give a fuck. And you know what, family? When you actually look at the comment section, you start to see Supremacist B. Now, mind you, Supremacist A is the one saying, we gonna be all friends. Let's bring these folks in so we can have a good time. Supremacist B represents that MAGA crowd, and they was pissed. They was pissed. Anytime you read the comments, I'm reading them right now. Somebody said, and this is real, I can't believe she actually had the nerve to call an illegal alien a law-abiding citizen. Mind you, she did say that. She said, yeah, I know they harmed your son terribly, but that's a law-abiding citizen, Karen. Sit your ass down. She was caping for an illegal over W woman. Family, you know supremacy is desperate and devious as fuck when they start teaming up and making friends with people you know they don't fuck with at all. We know they don't fuck with them people. They'll start a war in them people's country. And then when they get here, they'll give them sanctuary cities and money. How the hell you start a war in their country? You go and you just land blast their whole town. But yet when they get here, you say, here's some money, here's some allowance, here's an enclave. You want free education? You want free healthcare? Here, have it, Julio. You know goddamn well they got a plan. And we've already broke down what the fuck that plan is. We see it clearly. Oh, and by the way, I thought all this shit was about defending the honor of a W woman. I thought they was trying to defend Stormy Daniels. I thought they was looking out for the porn star. It can't be too much about women's rights if she sat there and just told another W woman, piss off. I'm just saying, it is what it is. We see the contradiction, and it's our job to expose that shit, and we expose it very goddamn well. But when you start talking about sanctuary cities, because that's another thing she said in there. She said sanctuary cities. A sanctuary city, family, is where basically they tell motherfuckers you're free to break the law. Not only have you already broke the law when you got here, because mind you, all the illegals broke the law when they first stepped in America. If your ass ain't supposed to be here, and it's against the law for you to come here, that means when your ass steps in here, you're already a criminal. So that's criminal number one. Criminal number two is they tell you if you come here illegally and you break the law and you're a criminal, you can go to these little towns and cities and you are exempt from any type of punishment. What the fuck is that, family? Y'all know supremacy would only run that type of game is if they got a motherfucking plan, and that's the plan that we've already broke down again. We know how it go. A supremacist will only team up with a non-supremacist is if he's using that non-supremacist as a pawn against another supremacist. You feel me? You follow? You got me? A supremacist will only team up with a non-supremacist if that other supremacist has a different tactic, approach, or plan. And that's what the root of immigration is. One supremacist has that plan, the other supremacist has that plan. Therefore, they start going to look for any non-supremacist they can to play a pawn role. And mind you, all of these immigrants and migrants and tethers who come here, they love playing a pawn role. Playing a pawn role for supremacy is like a badge of honor. Not only do you get to come here and mooch off the country, you also get to come here and have access. Now, mind you, what I tell you, no one wants to say this, but we've been saying this right here on Certified Black Society. Immigration is about proximity to kin and Karen. Half these people who come here, they come here with two thoughts in their mind. Three, fuck that, we'll give them three. They come here with, I want to be next to Karen and kin, proximity. I want to practice anti-blackness, which they already practice in their homeland. And three, I get shit for free. Right there, that's the exchange, that's the deal. They're willing to deal with these people because these folks will get that little pamphlet, they'll get these little trinkets, and then they come on over here and they play that goddamn role. And they get all types of protection. You notice how they keep that illegal crime hush? They don't ever mention it. That's another thing you can see. Family, we calling out shit while we calling out shit. You notice that conservatives, they make it a big deal to talk about the crime that illegals do. You ever notice that liberals, they stay hush about it? They never talk about it. Half of them are out there in California and Texas and they know exactly what's going on. But they don't ever make that shit headline news. A black person is still a piece of bubblegum. That should be 24-hour news cycle every goddamn day. But yet an illegal will commit all types of crimes, including that crime that lady was just talking about, but they didn't bring that up. You notice we only heard that story right there because that lady raised her hand at a presidential debate or a town hall meeting and got to tell her story. Now, when the fuck has the dominant society never spoke about somebody harming their kids? If somebody does something to one of their kids, that shit is on the front page. Let me ask you a question. You think if a black person did that to her son, they talk about it? You fucking right. They never quit talking about it. You know their names and every goddamn thing. They know how to protect things and they know how to stay quiet. You know why they do that? It's because they have to protect their investment. Yes, they spend all this money on them and they expect them to play a pawn role in return. That is an investment. They make the investment on immigration so they can support the erasure of our culture. So they have to protect their investment because they understand if all the stories about all the crimes that those illegals commit actually got out and got spoken of, then it ain't just gonna be the MAGAs and the Donald Trumps talking about building a wall. It's gonna be everybody. So they got an unspoken law, and that's to never mention illegal crime and to never mention the true numbers of illegal aliens. Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, you notice that they're trying to even change the name from illegals. They're starting to say migrants and refugees. They literally came out and said, we can't call them this no more. Why? Because that's bad press. Bad press does what? It fucks up their immigration investment. Fucking up the immigration investment fucks up their supremacist 100-year plan. Connect, connect, connect. We got it all, family. All the fucking way. We got it all the scenarios lined up. So yeah, they're gonna be real hush and they're gonna be real mum and they're gonna be real silent on all the crime to go down. And like we said, family, they're gonna look back years from now. We're gonna find out that the numbers of people who are crossing the border are gonna be by the millions more than they report. everything is going to be silent, fam. Everything is going to be silent. From the supremacist war to the real reason why they're trying to indict Donald Trump, all of this shit is going to be silent. Supremacy moves in silence because they understand they can't move aloud. Anytime they move aloud, we be on them. See, certified black society, we be on these motherfuckers whether they talking or they ain't talking. But you know and you understand that if they ever put shit out in the open, people are going to see it. A lot of black folks like being rocked to sleep. Real quiet, like putting the baby to sleep. Everybody in the room's got to hush. Be quiet. Don't say nothing. Black folks will go right to sleep when they do that. See, now with the black grassroots, it don't matter whether supremacy says something or supremacy does not say something. It don't matter if they loud as fuck or they quiet as fuck. We're going to expose them because we see through the bullshit. And when you see through the bullshit, supremacy ain't got to say a word because we watching their actions. We watching their actions. Back in the old days, black folks would say, I don't really know what's going on because he said he's my friend. He said he's on our side. He said that all the immigrants love us. Can't we all get along? Nowadays, we ain't on that shit. Nowadays, we saying, I don't give a fuck what he said. I'm telling you what he's doing. And I'm telling you this based on demonstrations of behavior and based on the behavioral track record. See, once you understand and identify, everything else gets regulated after that, and we regulate it. So they don't like that right now. The very fact that I'm breaking this down today and we calling out every single thing they doing, everything they hiding, that it ain't about this and it ain't about that. It's about them going back and forth with each other. We exposing all the chinks in their armor. We exposing all their fuck ups, all their mistakes. And this used to not happen before in the past, but it's happening now. Why? It's because we in charge. And when we're in charge, things go our way. That's the way the game is. So you're going to find out, and we are finding out right now in the process, that these numbers that they're telling us, these numbers are way more. There's far more motherfuckers hopping that border. There's far more motherfuckers getting amnesty, and there's far more motherfuckers getting a free ride. We got the facts that they ain't got. Listen to these numbers.
Right now, today, we have more than 9,000 people a day illegally crossing our border. 9,000 a day. During the time of Jay Johnson, during that surge time period, we had a little over 500,000 people illegally cross our border in a year. A little over 500,000 in a year. Under this administration, we have over 500,000 in 2 months. And it's continuing to accelerate. This is a very real crisis that for whatever reason, many people are ignoring and saying it's old news. But as the rise of fentanyl comes into our country, as the crisis continues to build in the humanitarian crisis on our southern border, please understand, we understand full well the pull factor. The pull factor is this administration's policies. This was not happening under the Obama administration. It is happening under this administration. The law is the same. The difference is this administration is not enforcing the law.
Oh, it don't stop.
Just a month after these stunning scenes from a Texas border bridge, another reminder of the record-shattering migrant surge. New data obtained by NBC News shows over 1.7 million undocumented immigrants were apprehended at the border over the last year, the highest total in American history. And tonight, U.S. officials monitoring tens of thousands more who may soon be making their way north. I want to leave in any way I can, this man says. Migrants amassing in Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, and southern Mexico. Some met with violence from law enforcement along the way. Republicans blame President Biden for encouraging the surge by releasing many migrants into the U.S., this week pressing his choice to head Customs and Border Protection.
Is there a crisis or is there not a crisis at the border?
Senator, I would say that my highest priority is going to...
I didn't ask your priority. Is there a crisis at the border?
Senator, what I'm certainly trying to convey is how serious I take what's happening at the border.
See, right there. Right there, as you heard Supremacist A and Supremacist B, who we've been breaking down, who we've been calling out. You seen them right now having that same supremacist on supremacist battle. That there, family, was supremacy on supremacy, supremacy civil war, and they were going back and forth about what? Immigration. We talk about them having this battle back and forth, and we just provided you two of them arguing over immigration the same way they do on these presidential debates. They'll go back and forth, tick for tack. So you see how serious this is. And when we talk about drastic things and how they're arguing right there in the Senate, didn't I say when they argue in the Senate, it sounds the same way as when they're arguing in the parliament over in the UK? Yes, a lot of people don't even know this. In the UK, they voted to leave the European Union over immigration. They were willing to risk economic collapse to get away from supremacy A and supremacy B. That's how serious this shit is. So let's get this right. Let's frame that. We're going to frame that real good. In America, they're willing to change the precedence of the presidency and go and lock up former presidents. In the UK, they're willing to risk economic collapse by leaving the European Union. If you don't know that that is some serious shit going on and it's bigger than porn stars or hush money, then your ass needs to open your eyes fully, because they telling you right in the open. But oh, we ain't done. I said we was gonna ramp it up. Let's continue. Let's talk about how much immigration costs this country and the very fact that they're willing to just throw money at these people. Oh yeah, shit real.
In this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come.
Since that speech, there have been more than 2.5 million illegal border crossings, and that's not including estimates of migrants that crossed under the radar or the so-called gotaways. Ever since Harris spoke in Guatemala, the Border Patrol officers have captured almost 12,189 pounds of fentanyl,
God damn,
which would be enough to kill well over 2.7 million Americans.
Woo!
That's way more than the people living in Palm Beach County, Florida, and be enough to kill all the people in the entire state of Kansas. With 5 migrants crossing the southern border every minute, our border is far from being secure. But that's not how the Biden administration sees it.
The border is secure.
America needs leaders who will act, but at the very least, we need leaders who will not lie to our faces.
Hey, did not say that they're gonna lie about the numbers. Did not say we're going to look back in a few years and see that it was millions and more people. Did not say we was going to look back and it was going to be millions of more dollars. Well, that motherfucker right there said exactly what I said. These motherfuckers is telling us. They telling us what it is. All we doing is catching what they say and speaking that shit out front like we supposed to do. That's why they mad.
Illegal immigration is costing American taxpayers $116 billion a year. That's after taking into consideration the taxes illegal immigrants pay back to the government. We should note that FAIR is a nonprofit group that advocates for less immigration into the United States.
Our next guest says illegal immigration costs America $116 billion each and every year. Kristen Tate's with us, columnist for The Hill. Where did that number come from? Can you break it down? 116 billion?
We cannot afford millions of people coming to this country dependent on U.S. taxpayers. And illegal immigration poses staggering costs to federal, state, and local budgets. Now, that $116 billion figure was derived by subtracting the total tax revenue paid by illegal immigrants, which was around $19 billion, from the total economic impact of illegal immigration. Illegal immigrants are net consumers of taxpayer-funded services, and the relatively small amount that this population pays in taxes doesn't even come close to offsetting the increasing costs imposed on U.S. taxpayers.
So basically what I heard is, free this, free that, free everything, while they say they can't find no money for us to get reparations. When it comes to reparations, they're like, well, we don't know where the money gonna come from. But yet you just sat back and seen them say that these folks are costing America $135 billion a year. Now, mind you, just duplicate that, and then take the money that you're sending to their home countries, and you got reparations right there. You got reparations and then more shit. So you know that they elevate these people above us, and that's why we've rejected it, and this is why they don't know what the fuck to do. Why do you think they're so hell-bent on stopping our reparations? Because our reparations and cash payments put us up so high on the economic ladder that would threaten all their baby supremacists tomorrow. They want the baby supremacists just to live carefree, the same way their asses are living carefree because their older ancestors put our ancestors through oppression. They want to do the same thing, so they're out here trying to stop reparations at all costs, and then you can spin that right on back to immigration. I always tell people, they try to connect our reparations to immigration. Those are the two biggest key point factors and policies going on in the United States of America, and they both have us, directly in the center of them. It's reparations over immigration, and you can't be one of these people out here trying to straddle the fence. Anybody, family, I'm telling you this, and I mean it. Anybody who comes around and tries to tell you that they support our reparations and immigration is a goddamn liar. That's a goddamn liar. That person is an op. That is a full-blown op. Stay the fuck away from them. You cannot support reparations and immigration because they want to give the immigrants your reparations money. Matter of fact, they're giving them your reparations money. They just calling it something different. They calling it welfare. They're calling it foreign aid, foreign assistance, all that money to go to the Ukraine. Those are immigrants. And guess what? That's your reparations money. All the money that goes down to the southern border. Guess what? That's your reparations money. Who's it going to? The immigrants. They take what belongs to us and then they feed it to everyone else. That's why they created the terms POC, minority, black and brown. They came up with those terms because those terms are all inclusive and they're meant to confuse and dilute black folks to think these people are our friends, and then we hand them over the goddamn money. Look in the past. They were always trying to mix our struggle in with immigrant struggle. Did they do that because it's real? Hell no, we know it ain't real, because our lineage, heritage, and culture is separate. So it can't be that. Did they do it because those immigrants love us so much? Hell no. We hear horror stories about how immigrants come to this country and practice anti-blackness upon us. So it can't be that either. So if it ain't about being friends, if it ain't about being buddies, if it ain't about a connection, then what the fuck is it about? How come the Democratic Party, everybody on the Democratic plantation, all the groups, NAACP, NARC, NCOBRA, all them suckers, how come they always try to blend in foundational black American culture with immigrants? How? Why? What the fuck they do that for? One reason. Because if you take our lineage, mix it on in with immigration, then the immigrants get everything that belongs to us. If you take our heritage, mix it on in with immigration again, then the immigrants get everything that belongs to us. That is what has been happening for the last 60 years, and every single one of those groups, starting with the Democratic Party all the way to the NAACP, have been the people on the front line doing it on purpose, not on accident, not a coincidence, not happenstance. They've been doing this shit knowingly to certified foundational black Americans. They've been taking what belongs to us and giving them away, to the point that they even created terms that are all inclusive. When a motherfucker goes into the encyclopedia and comes up with a new word to steal our shit, that tells you what time it is. When a motherfucker creates a definition for a term, when a motherfucker creates a group that don't even exist, somehow sells it to black people that they're a part of some black and brown coalition or some diaspora pan-African group that nobody else on the planet Earth even participates in, gets us to believe it, gets us to vote for the shit, and then everybody gets our tangibles and walks right the fuck out the front door. You know that's some oppie ass shit, and that's exactly what they've been on, some oppie ass shit. Now mind you, our lineage fighting in them streets during the civil rights era, that's the only reason these other groups are even allowed to come here. Mind you, this country would look like a rerun of I Love Lucy. It'd still be black and white if it wasn't for foundational black Americans. But let me say this to another level. Our certified foundational black American elders, and a lot of them are still here, they tell us personally that they weren't fighting for all these other groups, they were fighting for us. We've heard their testimonies personally that they were in the streets fighting for us to receive access, not for Mr. Lumbumba, Mr. Fufu, Mr. Muhammad, or Mr. Sanchez. They weren't fighting for none of them. But guess what? Mr. Lumbumba, Mr. Fufu, Mr. Muhammad, and Mr. Sanchez were all doing the tether hand rub. And as soon as the coast was clear, after we were out there getting dog sicked on us, after we were out there getting sprayed by water hydrants, while we were out there getting hit with billy clubs and lynched, they rolled right the fuck in, took the tangibles, and ran away, the same thing they do to us politically today. So we know the game, we know the play. And reparations has to be right here, and immigration can be far the fuck over there. I don't give a fuck how far. That shit can be so far as out of sight, because that is not our fight. And all these people who come around and they try to convince us that we need to fight for them, we need to stick up for them, immigrations is a blacks issue. Everybody who says that is lying straight to our goddamn face, because every economist, every economic study, every sociology study has proven that it hurts foundational black Americans the most, because we have been the permanent underclass. When immigrants come to this country, they know that shit because the reports on their paper every morning at 11 a.m. Don't let none of these motherfuckers act like they don't get it, they don't understand, it's a humanitarian thing, because no, they only come to us with that shit. All that, it's an emotional thing, look at these poor people tugging on your heartstrings, they don't pull that shit on anybody else. Have you ever seen them get on TV and run that same lecture to anybody? Have you seen them get on TV and tell all the other groups in America, y'all knows this is an emotional thing, y'all should care. Ooh, you's wrong if you don't feel this way. If you don't want to drop everything you doing, run all the way down to the border and help those people, then you's a bad American. They ain't never ran that game on anybody else. And the only reason they run that game on us and nobody else is because we are the lineage that they buffer from, they crowbar from, they tether to, they blend in with. They only pull that shit on us because we are the lineage that has been up for sale. They've been auctioning off foundational black American resources for 60 years to the highest tether. Yep, they say 1 to the 2 to the 3, 4, 5, 5, 9, 10, 10, 10 sold to the tether over there on the right. Foundational black American tangibles, foundational black American reparations. They're literally having a fucking auction where they're auctioning off things that come to us. That's how many tethers come here. And they got their little fucking hands up saying, ooh, me, I'll take what the black folks created. I'll take hip hop. We co-contributed. It's a 50-50 split. No, over here. Mr. Immigrant Man over here. We built America. It wasn't foundational black American slaves. It was us. I'm telling y'all, this shit real. So when black folks running around here thinking shit is sweet, thinking it's just some small little thing, you see, oh, Donald Trump getting indicted, man. Hey, if you do the crime, you got to do the time now. Man, this shit way deeper than that. Way the fuck deeper. Because they understand that for the first time in history, black folks are starting to look at that border and say, well, maybe we should close that motherfucker. Maybe it ain't my job to drop what I'm doing, quit feeding my kids and go feed somebody who fled here. Maybe we need to go ahead and delineate. Ain't it funny, y'all, that the same time we start talking about delineation is the same time they trying to lock Trump up over immigration? Ain't it funny how the same time we start talking about gatekeeping, G-checking, owning our own culture is the same time they want to lock Donald Trump up for immigration? See, when I say I got receipts, family. Certified 100, we don't play. When we step in the building, motherfuckers know, because we bringing them receipts with us. So when I say that this is all about immigration, you can go ahead and connect the dots. He's getting locked up because he wants to close the border. At the same very time, the foundational black Americans, we done closed the motherfucking doors. Trump wants to close the borders, we done closed the doors. He closed the borders to America, we closed the doors to the foundational black American house. Your ass can't come on in. You can't take our tangibles no more. You can't steal from us. You can't tether onto us. We created the term tether. We created the term fleedman. We got fleers. We got blenders. We got everybody out here trying to get what belongs to us, including our reparations money. And we said, hell to the no. You ain't getting it. And while we were saying hell to the no, Donald Trump was saying this.
African Americans built this nation. We built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right?
Oh, yes, he did. Goddamn right. And that wasn't the first time he said it. He also said it this time.
Today, we are here to honor the extraordinary contributions of African Americans to every aspect of American life, history, and culture. From the earliest days of this nation, African American leaders, pioneers, and visionaries have uplifted and inspired our country in art, in science, literature, law, film, politics, business, and every arena of national life. The depth and glory of these contributions are beyond measure. You know it, I know it, and everybody knows it.
Damn, and he wasn't done yet.
Since the beginning of our republic, African Americans have given their heart, their love, and their very lives to the pursuit. And you know this better than anybody. You have worked so hard. I guess when you get right down to it, we're all working very hard. But the pursuit of liberty and justice for all.
And while Donald Trump was saying that, Master Joe Biden was saying this.
We got more questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, and you ain't black, and you ain't black, and you ain't black.
Damn, big difference. One person said you built the country and didn't get the credit for it. The other person said you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Ain't that a motherfucker? He wasn't done either. Remember when he got on that Zoom call with all them boule motherfuckers? And he told them straight up, go to hell. Listen.
But it's like when I named it, well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. But because it's real.
Damn, that's real fucked up. He told them straight to their motherfucking face. If it ain't good enough, to hell with y'all. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. Not to mention, down in Louisiana, he called one of their political figures boy. He said, come here, boy. On motherfucking national TV. Cameras was rolling all across the event. He said, come here, boy. He also called somebody the Great Negro. I ain't lying. If I didn't have receipts, I wouldn't say it. Matter of fact, fuck that. We got receipts. Listen, right here, he refers to somebody as the Great Negro.
I know you're a little younger than I am, but, you know, I've adopted the attitude of the Great Negro at the time.
Joe Biden done dusted off that 1950s racism, because you know he's 370 years old any goddamn way. So that is, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. To hell with y'all. Come here, boy, and the great Negro. And that's all within the last 4 years. Not to mention all the shit he said going way the fuck back to the 1960s. Cause then the list gets bigger. Then the list gets stronger. Not to mention the biggest thing he's ever done, which is the 1994 crime bill. I said all that shit. Racial slurs from the 1950s all the way to the 2000s. And still didn't even mention the crime bill. So if you add the crime bill to the shit, then everything gets bigger. And that goes to show you right there the two different sides of supremacy. So when they were trying to feed us that, now mind you, the motherfucker who said boy and Negro and you ain't black and the hell with y'all, that's the one that black folks was running around here saying was Uncle Joe. That's the one black folks was running around here saying vote blue no matter who for. That's the motherfucker right there that they were saying anybody but Trump go vote for Joe Biden. Let's remember, they hijacked and sabotaged the Breonna Taylor protest, the Ahmaud Arbery protest, and the George Floyd protest. They hijacked them all from justice for black people into vote for Joe. On top of that trashy ass record he has. But if you let somebody talk long enough, they'll expose themselves. He said something right after he told all them boule motherfuckers go to hell. He said something that shined a light into that supremacy 100-year plan. That 100-year plan that supremacy has, they like to keep it close-knit. They like to tell you that it ain't really about that, the same way they're trying to tell you that the Trump indictment is about a porn star. Yeah, but we all know it's about a 100-year plan to erase us, to bring in a buffer class, to bury us under immigration. Listen to him sit here and tell these motherfuckers what he's gonna do, who he was gonna bring in to replace them with. He tells them straight to their face and they don't say a goddamn thing. But we caught it, soon as he said it, we framed it, put it on that screen, and let the whole goddamn world know. Listen.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do. Who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do. Who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do. In terms of raw numbers.
When you know the motherfucking truth, you speak the motherfucking truth, then empowerment follows you right along. Listen to what he just said. He told them who he was going to replace them with. He told them when he was going to do it. So when us over here in the black grassroots starts calling shit out and people get mad at us and saying, you're being divisive, y'all's a hate group. Don't be mad at us for calling out the bullshit. Get mad at yourself for saying it. See, they're not mad at themselves for saying it. They just mad that this is the first generation who calls them on it. And we've been calling them on it all the time. We said that there is an erasure. He just told you there's an erasure. He said, y'all's gonna have to work with Hispanics. Notice how he was getting bucked too. He was checking them. He was checking every last boule motherfucker on that car. And if you freeze frame it, all they asses had their heads to the ground. Because that's where they live their life. Head to the ground. We head to the sky. That's why we win. That's why they lose. But he was checking them. He said, y'all gonna have to learn how to work with Hispanics because we are going to elevate them above you. Matter of fact, he's already in the process of doing it. That's why they spend billions of more dollars on them than they do us, even though we are the ones who built this country. We are the ones who sustain this country, and we are the ones who maintain this country. And he still told them what he gonna do. You know a motherfucker bold as hell when they tell somebody who they gonna replace them with, when they gonna replace them, and the exact year that they gonna get replaced. And they didn't say shit, not a motherfucking thing. They took that lashing from that old ass dinosaur with pride. I told you, don't put nothing past no coon. Don't put nothing past him. When it come to Massa, they gonna bow the fuck down. And it ain't just he said, y'all gonna have to work with Latinos. We gonna replace y'all. It's not even that. Notice before he said, you hear me? I mean, he was talking to them like they a bunch of 5-year-olds. Just checking them. They getting that old dinosaur check. You done let a man who is 780 years old check your ass. Right on a Zoom chat. You know that's some fucked up shit. But since we catch everything, did you also notice how he said, this country is doomed? And it's not just because African Americans. He started off saying the country is doomed because of y'all. Let me translate it. Okay, once again, let's give some translation to the statement. He started off and said this country is doomed because of y'all. We gonna replace y'all with this group here. We're gonna replace you in the year 2040, and you better get to working with your replacements ahead of time because it's coming. And that's what all that was, family. All that was him telling you what the future is. That future plan that we've been breaking down today. That statement by Joe Biden right there was him telling you what it looks like. If you want to know what the future looks like inside a supremacist A's head, that's it right there. That's not the MAGA. The MAGA is all W's matter, only W's, lock down the borders, motherfuckers can't come in. But if you want to see what the liberals' future of America looks like, that was it. If you want to see what the Democrats' future of America looks like, that was it. And doesn't it line up identically, precisely, and exactly with what the fuck we done broke down today on the Black AlphaCast? Checkmate, checkmate, motherfucking checkmate. Don't let nobody tell you that we ain't on game. Don't let nobody tell you that we ain't on point. And don't let nobody tell you that the new black media and the black grassroots don't have this shit on lock, because we do. Listen to what we just did, family. The very fact that we can expose a cultural erasure and then play a clip of the culprit admitting to the shit, that's on us. The very fact that we can tell you who they're going to try to replace us with and then play a clip of the culprit telling you who it's going to be, that's on us again. The very fact that we can break down, highlight, frame, and expose the plans of the dominant society 100 years into the future, and then we can sit back and listen to them tell us their plans for 100 years in the future. And it's exactly what the fuck we said. That once again shows you it's all on us and we got it wrapped up. Fucking right. And speaking of it being a wrap, let's talk about this Alvin Bragg guy, the DA from New York. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this guy because he's running around here right now, putting these charges on Trump, thinking shit is good, thinking shit is sweet, thinking he done made it, thinking he done accomplished something. But family, what does supremacy do to their tools after they use them? Yeah, right? They break them. And this guy, he's another one of these folks who think it's them. He think he done made it. Remember I was talking about folks that get to cherry pick and come through the door to Oprah Winfrey's and the Michael Jordans? See, he's the DA version of that. He done been hand-picked and hand-selected to do some dirty work for the dominant society, basically be a pawn in their political battles. So when the shit get hot and shit get sour, they can take all the motherfucking heat. But see, a happy Sambo don't get that. He gets to tap dancing, eats about one fucking butter biscuit, and thinks he done saved the world. Nah, I'ma say it now. It's a wrap for him. As soon as all this shit passes, as soon as all this shit goes down, he gonna be that tool that the dominant society breaks after the smoke clears. And only problem with his ass is that the tool that he done been has been a tool that ain't ever happened before. We talking about putting indictment charges on the president of the United States. That shit ain't never happened before. So the tool that he's in, oh, he in a world of motherfucking trouble. It's wrapped up for him. Don't be surprised if he loses everything. Shit, don't be surprised. Family, mark this down. Trust me, I'm telling you right now, mark this down. You heard it here from the Black Alpha Network. I said it. Don't be surprised in about 10 years, after all this shit goes away, Donald Trump never spent one day in jail, but Alvin Bragg ass end up in prison. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if this shit flips all on him and next thing you know his ass is in jail and Donald Trump never went to jail. That's how it works in the system of supremacy, and that's how it works when your ass is a tool of supremacy. They break you. I guarantee you, Donald Trump ain't ever going to jail, but Alvin Bragg will end up in jail. Just like the Civil War. After the Civil War was over and the North and the South had their supremacist civil war, the North made fake friends out of black folks, and what they do? They told black folks 40 acres and a mule and all this shit. And then they said, oh, by the way, thanks for helping us win the war against the South. Y'all on your own. And then they left black folks all by themselves to deal with the South. Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen to Mr. Alvin Bragg. The Republicans and the Democrats, the same ones who got a problem with each other today, but remember, they're only having a race brother problem. See, they're still race brothers. Alvin Bragg, his ass ain't invited to the party. He's only playing the role of the tool. See, he thinks he's cool. He thinks he done did something. He doesn't understand that you ain't doing nothing special. You operating as a tool for the dominant society, and they done did this shit with a billion other black folks. A billion other every goddamn body. And his ass think he don't arrive. Let me tell you this. The Democrats and the Republicans, after all this shit is said and done, they gonna go to the table, they gonna make a supremacist deal, and his ass is gonna be the main one who catches all the wreck. They gonna find every last little piece of fucking dirt they can find on this guy. Donald Trump ass gonna walk right away and right into the sunset, and Alvin Bragg, the DA, is gonna go to jail. They'll put charges on the DA. Remember Marilyn Mosby out in Baltimore? She was the district attorney, and she brought charges on the police officers. Guess what? None of the police went to jail, and her ass ended up with charges. When the hell have you ever seen the DA end up with charges? The DA will charge you, and then the cops will get set free, and the DA will go to jail. That's what's going to happen with Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is nothing but a blackface supremacist. He is doing all they fucking dirty work. He's going to find out real goddamn quick. Them tools are meant to be broken, and it ain't nothing to play with. He's gonna go from charging Donald Trump to supremacy charging his ass, because that's how they always do it. Notice, they always put a black face in front of everything. So when it gets messy, they can lay the blame on a black person. Colin Powell, remember Colin Powell? Colin Powell, they used him to go to war with Iraq. And he got out there and made a big old speech and said, we need to go to Iraq, go to Iraq, go to Iraq. The Bush administration threw his ass right under the bus, and he was disgraced for the rest of his career. That's what they do. It's a black mascot. That's exactly what it is. They just put your ass in power to do all the dirty work. And then they can say, see, it wasn't us who did it. It was a black man. So when they sit back and they talk about how the whole Donald Trump thing played out and how it flipped the political system upside down and presidents is looking over their shoulder and they having a supremacist on supremacist battle, they're not going to take the blame for that shit. They're going to say, it wouldn't have been like that if it wasn't for the black guy. It's the black guy who did it. That's what the Bush administration did with Colin Powell. When they fucked up and went to war with Iraq and it was found out that that was some bullshit, what's the first thing they did? They said, oh, we wouldn't have went to war if it wasn't for Colin Powell. The black man did it. They didn't blame George W. Bush. They didn't blame Dick Cheney. They blamed Colin Powell. And Colin Powell had that look on his face for the rest of his life where he knew he fucked up. Colin Powell never recovered. You could see a look in his face for the rest of his career that he knew that he was used as a pawn, and they ruined him. He went from being one of the most distinguished people in the political world and the military world to being disgraced, and he never recovered from it. That's exactly what's gonna happen with this guy. Alvin Bragg, your ass going to jail in about 10 years. That's what supremacy gonna do. Like I said, you gonna go from charging Donald Trump to supremacy charging your ass. That's the way the game works. And I'm sorry that you don't know it, because you wanna be next to Massa and you wanna do all his bidding. Well, he gonna do some bidding on you when your ass is doing 10 to 15. For some bullshit that they done propped up on you. That's how it go. You wanna have a Sambo parade where they gonna parade your ass around until it's time to break you. That's why you're there. You're only there to shield the Democrats, and you're only there to be a puppet. And once the Democrats and Republicans realize that this shit is over, it ain't never over for you. Watch it. Goddamn right. Matter of fact, you already see him laying down the groundwork now. DeSantis down in Florida, he came out talking about the Donald Trump indictment. He didn't talk about everybody though. Who did he talk about? He talked about Alvin Bragg specifically. Oh, he had all the goddamn smoke.
And now you have this Manhattan district attorney. So now he turns around purely for political purposes and indicts a former president on misdemeanor offenses that they're straining to try to convert into felonies. That is when you know that the law has been weaponized for political purposes. That is when you know that the left is using that to target their political opponents. And I can tell you this, these Soros-backed DAs, they are a menace to society. They are a menace to the rule of law.
Hey, can I translate that for you? What he really meant to say is, now you got this black guy prosecuting a W. He's seeing that shit all through color. That's what he's seeing. And mind you, Santos, he could be sitting here taking advantage of the Trump situation, because he was basically going to be the only competition for Donald Trump in the Republican primaries. It was going to be DeSantis and Donald Trump. So he would rather go after the black DA than to sit back and just let this shit go off on Trump, which would benefit him. He's putting supremacy over his own political career. That's how they operate. That's how they operate. He sounded like he was fucking Trump's lawyer. He was defending Trump more than Trump's attorneys have been defending him. Why? Because it's all about supremacy. Notice he started talking about a menace to society. He called the DA a menace to society. You know what that sound like, right? That sound like the black guy, the N-I-G-G hard E-R, is a menace to society. That sound like, you know, black folks is thugs. Alvin Bragg gonna find out. Yeah, he gonna find out real goddamn quick. He must have forgot he black. What I said earlier, family, black folks always want to jump in a W on W conflict and pick sides. Don't ever jump in and pick sides, because you're gonna find out both them sides gonna team up on your ass. And that's what's happening. I'll be damned. DeSantis was defending his political opponent so he can go after the black guy. That's what you call putting supremacy over everything, but that wasn't it either. No, all of them are coming after him. I seen Democrats coming after him and Republicans coming after him. Oh, that wasn't it? Tucker Carlson came after his ass too. Listen.
But the Soros-funded district attorney in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, has stitched together a Frankenstein legal theory to justify this prosecution. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible because the statute of limitations has passed. And as if all of that were not third world enough, someone leaked the news of Donald Trump's grand jury indictment to the media. Now, that in itself is a crime under the law in New York. In fact, a much bigger crime.
Did y'all catch that? Man, I don't even know. Family, how many motherfucking spoilers we got? I mean, today's episode, that's like number 9,000. Didn't we just say that they were going to charge Alvin Bragg with a crime in the future? And did you see Tucker Carlson already alluding to it? He's saying the very fact that the charges got leaked, that's a crime. He's already setting up the potential charges that come down on Alvin Bragg now. That's how supremacy works. They'll start throwing that shit out in the atmosphere. They'll start saying it ahead of time. And then 5 years from now, Alvin Bragg gonna be getting his ass charged. And they're already lying it down. They're already connecting a crime to him. And the real crime is him being a tool for the dominant society and his ass getting broken. Got you lined up, partner.
My name is Nana Jumphy, and I'm the Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. I think one of the main misconceptions is that immigration is not a black issue. The second is that black immigrants are also black, that we suffer all of the conditions and all of the result of harsh policies that multi-generational African Americans.
Whoa, hold on. You see how she's trying to combine the immigrant issue with us by saying, well, they're black. See that flat blackness shit again. Oh, lineage based, them put in all that. She just basically said, fuck lineage, fuck heritage, fuck culture, we all black, so therefore give us what you got. And they do not like that we said, no, you ain't getting what we got. Go get your own. Matter of fact, if you had your own, you wouldn't even be here. So she's trying to tie us in and saying, well, you know, it is a black issue because everybody's black. Well, not everybody's foundational black American because they ain't built to be.
The common issues that are shared between African Americans and black immigrants really come under the general heading of anti-blackness. When you come here as a black immigrant, you don't somehow escape that. You're defined by your blackness, however you were defined wherever you came from. Maybe you were never defined as black there. Maybe you were defined as some permeation of black, right? But once you get to this country, you're a black person.
Nah, fuck that. We ain't going for that. Nah, keep that lie to yourself, sister. We done heard plenty of them say, I'm not black, I'm Nigerian. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I'm not black, I'm from Panama. I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. They tell us quickly that they ain't black. Or they'll just say, yeah, I'm black, but I ain't FBA. Every single thing they say is against us. It's not a commonality, it's not a connection. The only time they want to be connected is when it comes to our money. One of my famous quotes right here on the Black Alpha Network, and that is, they like to stand away from us socially, but they want to stand next to us politically. Socially, they don't want nothing to do with us. Politically, they want to stand just close enough that when the resources come in, they can run up and snatch them. They can run in and steal them. And we see that shit, and we ain't letting it happen. Now, mind you, it's not just people like her who've been running that game. Folks like Kamala Harris, non-FBA, Barack Obama, non-FBA, that White House press secretary lady, non-FBA. You notice that they always bring in these non-FBAs. As a matter of fact, name me one foundational black American who has any power in the political world. Very few. But you see Sheila Jackson Lee, non-FBA. So do you see the non-FBA immigrant representation in the political world? That ain't no accident. They brought in all these folks because they are subservient. And mind you, Barack Obama, he was the one writing all those laws, DACA and Dreamer, and telling everybody to come on in. Kamala Harris is running around here talking about how her parents are non-FBA. So you see all types of non-FBA. Let's say this about Barack Obama. Let's say this real quick. There ain't an FBA drop in Barack Obama. His mother is not even black. His father is not black American. Where he got any FBA in? Where he got any FBA? None. You're talking about the most non-FBA person. So when we start speaking about lineage, heritage, and culture, he don't know what the fuck we on. Not at all. So that's why he was the main one running around here saying, we're a nation of immigrants.
I think I've made myself clear, setting aside whatever the candidates are saying, that America is a nation of immigrants. America is a nation of immigrants. America is a nation of immigrants. That's our strength. Unless you are one of the first Americans, unless you are a Native American, somebody somewhere in your past showed up from someplace else.
See? Nah, homeboy. Not native, foundational. And mind you, when he says native, y'all know he talking about Pocahontas from a Disney movie. He ain't talking about foundational black Americans. So basically what he said is foundational black Americans weren't here. We weren't here. It was Pocahontas running around. So everybody's an immigrant, including us. That's what he just said. He said everybody is an immigrant, including us. We gonna break down the translation because you know they talking back doors and side doors and innuendos. We gonna cut through all that. He's excluding us from the very country that our ancestors created. You know why? It's because while our ancestors were right here creating this country, his ancestors were on the other side of the planet because he's not from here. That's why. Listen to the guy talk. Ain't no FBA in that. Ain't no FBA at all. Oh, and that wasn't the last time he said it. It wasn't the first time either. Listen again.
For just as we remain a nation of laws, we have to remain a nation of immigrants. That's why, as another step forward, we're lifting the shadow of deportation from deserving young people who were brought to this country as children. It's why we still need a DREAM Act to keep talented young people who want to contribute to our society and serve our country.
There you go again. Oh, he was laying it on thick too, wasn't he? He said nation of immigrants again. Mind you, Barack Obama is the one who created the we're a nation of immigrants. Once he started saying that, then everybody else started saying it. You goddamn right. And notice he said, let's lift deportation in the process. So not only did he exclude foundational black American ancestors, not only did he say we're a nation of immigrants, he also said, oh, by the way, let's lift deportation and bring in the Dreamer Act. Now, isn't it funny that somebody who's a non-foundational black American and just sat there and excluded our ancestral presence here in the country, which is insulting? Isn't it funny that they use a foundational black American legend like Martin Luther King and use his I Have a Dream speech so he can bring in non-FBA people to replace us? Yeah, all that smoke for FBA, but they don't mind using our legends terminologies, do they? No, the fuck they don't. And when I said that he started saying that shit first, and then all the other people said, yes, we are a nation of immigrants. Because mind you, they didn't say that shit. They didn't even know. Half the people who flee here, they don't know shit about the history of this country. All they know is Barack Obama put a battery in their back. Soon as he started saying we're a nation of immigrants, then all of a sudden everybody starts saying it. And then when Joe Biden came on top of that and said immigrants built this country, now you're starting to hear immigrants say that they built this country. Nobody was saying that until the Democratic plantation put that into circulation. Then after that, you started hearing people say shit like this.
Guys, don't ever forget that immigrants built the United States of America.
That right there was Pitbull, one of the biggest culture vultures. Ran around for years acting like he was a black American. Soon as he got a check, all of a sudden he started salsa dancing. Same thing that they're doing up there in New York, where they're saying they co-created hip hop. Barack Obama put that in. Yeah, they weren't saying none of that immigrants built America shit because they came here really without a culture, without any type of accomplishments. But once they got here, then all of a sudden it's, yes, we did build America. Obama said we did. And do you notice in that Obama speech, when he starts saying that they're the future of America, didn't that sound exactly like Joe Biden when he said, y'all better start working with Latinos? Yes, it's the same game plan, it's the same bullshit, and it's brought to you by that version of supremacy. The same version of supremacy that wants to come in and lock up Donald Trump because he wants to put up a wall to stop that. It ain't just about Donald Trump stopping illegals from crossing the border. It's about Donald Trump stopping Democrats from bringing in black replacements. Oh, yes, indeed it is. Donald Trump comes out and he says this version of supremacy.
Number 4, block funding for sanctuary cities. We blocked the funding. No more funding. We
will end the sanctuary cities that have resulted in so many needless deaths.
Then the Democrats come in with this version of supremacy.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
And those are your two different versions of supremacy. And those are the main reasons you see the Trump indictment. And those are the main reasons you see them fighting over immigration right here in America and way the fuck over in Europe. That is a certified black society, new black media, black grassroots receipt cashed out. Got them for days. Now I said just let them talk, right? Just let them talk and they'll tell you everything. Joe Biden, he sat there and told you the plan openly if motherfuckers was listening. Barack Obama, he told you their plan if you was listening. And did you hear Chuck Schumer right there? Did you notice how he slid in? We have a population problem. Now we all know about the population problem on their side of the fence with the dominant society. And this is another reason why they want to bring in new recruits so they can grant them with a little bit of W-ness. They'll say, well, you can be an honorary W. You can be a mascot so they can get their numbers up. Anytime they're at a disadvantage, they'll find little sneaky ways to increase things. That's the same reason why you had the Roe versus Wade situation. And they was telling Karen, your ass is going to jail if you get an abortion. Why they say that? It's the same reason why he said we need 11 million because we have a population problem. So now they're like, fuck that. We need to get our numbers up. Your ass going to jail. You can cross the border. And anybody else who wants to come over here and do our dirty work, we'll give you a little pass for the day because we got to get these numbers up. And he sat there right there and told you in front of the microphone. Problem before is black folks used to hear that shit and not understand it. Now we hear the shit and we seen it before he said it. You see the difference between them and us. You see the difference between the old and the new. You see the difference between the counterfeits and the certifieds. 100. So yeah, we on it, we on game. Hot fire and it don't stop. Pedal to the floor. We letting them all know that immigration is not a foundational black American issue. No, the hell it's not. Immigration is an immigrant issue. Foundational black American issues are for foundational black Americans. And we done split that shit down the middle. We done separated, we done delineated, and now they don't have nothing to do. Understand, you have politicians that get paid just to convince us to fight for everyone else. Y'all know I'm always saying tethers need us. They need us in this country because every single thing that they get comes from us. There is an unspoken rule and policy in America that foundational black Americans make it and the tethers take it. And then politicians get in the middle and they convince us to give it away. See, that shit used to work with the African American, not with the foundational black American. The foundational black American is saying, nope, everything I make is staying in my house. Every single dollar I make is staying in my bank account, and all the food that we get is going on our kids' plates, not yours. See, they used to walk in our house and take our food and take our money and take our tangibles. Then they showed up and said, hell, we want your reparations too. And then we said, nah, fuck that. Hell nah, that ain't happening. This generation right here has put a line in the sand. We are the very first people to ever say it's all about us. We put that sign in the front yard that says FBA only, no trespassers. And they just got to deal with it. And they've been having a hard time dealing with it, but we don't give a fuck. You're going to have to accept it because I know you can't check it. That's our mentality moving forward. So when they're out here trying to say it's a black issue and black folks need to worry about it, it ain't going nowhere. That's why coons are out of business. We've been running them out of business. Coons ain't cooning like they used to. Tap dancers ain't tap dancing like they used to. Butter biscuit stash done went down. They don't pump out butter biscuits like they could. They went from whole batches of butter biscuits to a few crumbs. Why is that true? Because we are not falling for it. Whenever we don't fall for the bullshit, all the Democratic shills are out of business. All the counterfeits are out of business. All the coons are out of business. They don't get nothing if we don't give them anything. It's the same with the tether. We can eliminate the tethers, the shields, and everybody just by saying fuck you. And we've been saying fuck you. So now they asses ain't got nothing going for themselves. They disappearing. Man, family, isn't there a bunch of coons that you don't even see anymore? You used to see some faces all the time and you don't even see them. They gone because they ain't got nothing. We've been putting them out of business. And like we said about the tethers, and let's make this real clear. A tether had to flee his homeland because he couldn't create for himself. And once he gets here and he can't create, what's he gonna get? They need us. Tethers need us to eat at night. If a tether does not steal from foundational black Americans, his ass don't eat. So they gotta say, what are they doing? What are they up to? Let's show up to their reparations events. Why you think our reparations events look like the fucking United Nations? Everybody shows up to where we are. We can have one conversation and everybody's gonna come around. Now, they don't ever wanna come around when it's to assist us, to help us. No, they disappear then. But let us start talking about some fucking money. Then you're gonna have literally 500 motherfuckers showing up saying, what about the money for all of us? You said you had money, right? How the fuck you know we was here? They be knowing all of our events. There's some events that black folks don't know about. And these tethers still somehow show up and say, you said 12:30, right? What the fuck? Because they need us. That's the biggest misconception, and we breaking that misnomer right here today. Let's let it be known. Tethers have no fucking power. They need foundational black Americans because we have always been their source of food, their source of income, their source of tangibles, their source of money. Without us, they ain't getting none of that. And that's why they struggling right now, and they jumping on these fucking planes and going back home. They always want to talk about immigration. They argue about it and fight about it. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, left and right. You want to know what helps immigration the best? Foundational black Americans being on code. Once we on code and we say, fuck no, you can't get what we got, then all of a sudden they're like, well, how are we going to eat? I don't give a fuck. And now you starting to see reverse immigration. Tethers is going back home. The motherfuckers done fleed here. Now they fleeing back. Why? It's because they got here and they thought they had a deal. They telling the W, you said that I could eat off of FBA. You said that I could take the reparations. But they didn't plan for this generation to show up. What I always say, family, they came looking for black folks and the wrong ones for them showed up, but the right ones for us. And we said, hail to the gnaw. So that unspoken rule that tethers get to eat off of our plate, we done ended that shit. So now the deal between the tether, the immigrant, and the dominant society, oh, that shit's at an influx. Because we're not providing them the opportunity to steal from us. Once we started saying you can't steal from us no more, then these motherfuckers said, I guess I have to go back home. I guess so, motherfucker. Because our home is right here. Certified foundational black American. And we built this country. Therefore, what we say is going to go. And now we're owning our greatness. And by owning our greatness, the immigration game is all fucked up. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They want to indict presidents. They want to indict district attorneys. They want to steal elections. All of that is based on foundational black Americans saying, fuck no, we run it. Know that. All right, family. One love, one love, one love. I said we was going to cook today, and we cooked their ass up. I said that we was going to unpack, and we unpacked it. And you know we always bring them receipts, and we drop them spoilers certified style. There ain't nothing they can say no more. There ain't nothing they can say because right here in the black grassroots, we're calling everything out. We're exchanging notes, and we matching motherfuckers. Energy for energy. And our energy is the strongest, so we're always going to win. That's why we prevail, and that's why they fail. We cut different. We from a different cloth. One of a kind. Exceptionally excellent. Our lineage is not to be fucked with. And we're proving that every day, every second. That's why you see us getting results. That's why you see us winning. That's why you see us on top of the game. And we're going to stay here because this is where we belong. And it feels so good. That's right. I appreciate y'all for tapping into the Black Alpha Network. I'm telling you right now, we coming, we pushing that line. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you smash that like button and share this with every real person you know because you know we stand together, side by side, stronger than ever, united. They try to break us up. They can't do that. They try to stop us. They can't do that. They try to derail us and knock us off our path. They can never do that. Remember this, family. Just because you get knocked off your path doesn't mean that you've been knocked off your destiny. We got knocked off our path a long time ago, but guess what? We got right back on track. But this time we're on track, we stronger than ever. This time when we on track, we got the whole certified 100. And this time when we're on track, there ain't no debate, there ain't no compromise, there ain't no filters. It's only certified black society. That motherfucking part. Yes, sir. So we gonna sit back, watch this indictment, supremacy on supremacy crime, everybody going at each other, everybody fighting. They trying to flip the game and change the game, but they don't like that. We done laid out all their blueprints. We done laid out all their tricks. We done laid out their whole futuristic plan. And the only people who are capable of doing that are foundational black Americans because foundational black Americans are the only people who have ever stood up and fought back. You know it's in our culture to stand up. We get up to get down. So if anybody thinks that we ever gonna sit back, take things lightly, tolerate disrespect, and tolerate folks being off code, they got the wrong motherfucking ones, but they got us on the right motherfucking day. All the way around. Y'all have a good one. Y'all stay safe, stay good, stay strong, stay lethal. And we gonna continue to hold it down, and we gonna continue to keep building, working, shining, and grinding. So one love and salute all the way from the Black Alpha Network directly to you and yours. I appreciate the love, I appreciate the support, and I appreciate being us because it gets no better. One hand on the money, fist to the sky, and letting the whole world know that black is beautiful and beautiful is always black. One love.